This week on the UBF podcast, we talk about all the exciting A-League action, the grand final ahead, Manchester United's shambolic season, Ange's big win, Arsenal's big Champions League win,
and our third UBF host, his time at Portsmouth, and how's it going, Mr. Hayden Mathews?
Thank you for having me, guys. Yeah, I didn't know what to say. I was like, yeah, sure. Okay.
Hello and welcome back to the UBF podcast. I'm Abs.
And I'm Tom. And as suggested in our wonderful preview, we are with our third unofficial host, Mr. Hayden Mathews. Hayden, how are you?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Mate, it's nice
Good.
to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
I think I was excited, Abs.
Yeah.
I'm very excited, mate. He left a Hayden-sized hole in our heart when he left Sydney, and we've struggled to patch that hole, but he's here today.
Well, Abs, not to worry, he's back with us. Hayden, first of all, in one word, how would you sum up your time at Portsmouth so far?
Oh, enjoyable.
Enjoyable.
Yeah.
Well, have you caught up with all the A-League action, with everything that's happened?
Yeah, I've been keeping up to date when I've been over there as well. It's on early in the morning, and it's on YouTube in most of Europe.
So, beautiful! Wow.
Yeah, so it's an easy way to watch it.
Seriously, it's on YouTube.
In the UK, it's not, but I allegedly use a VPN and watch it through a European country, which it is on YouTube, allegedly.
He travels to a certain European country and then comes back.
He drives to Latvia.
Yeah.
Watches the A-League for 3
I thought
hours.
Bulgaria.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Bulgaria.
Each time's a different location.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, but it's on at early hours of the morning. So when I wake up or I'm walking around the training ground watching some A-League.
What have you thought of the season? What have you thought of the overall experience of the A-League since you've left?
It's been eventful, really. Like a lot's happened, a lot has changed, and yeah, it's been a bit all over the shop. Like the results there's been a lot of upsets, a lot of massive results as well. So yeah, I've enjoyed watching it. Obviously, still not impartial. I'm still a massive Sydney FC fan at heart. So.
How's the finals run?
Okay.
Fuck.
There was just no need. But yeah, it's been enjoyable to be a spectator again in a way.
Quickly on that, sorry, I just want to ask. In terms of that, how was the quality from being firsthand in the championship level, so the second division, basically in English football, and reflecting back on your time in the A-League? Is there a big difference? Is there the small things they do, just that little bit upper quality in class?
Yeah, there's a lot of quality in. To be fair, there's a lot of quality in the A-League as well, but there's a lot of quality over there. It is the small things, the decision making, the ability to do things at high speeds, and also just like the difference between the best and worst player is so minimal. Whereas, so everyone's at a really, really high standard. Whereas obviously in the A-League, you get young kids that haven't had the chance and they're still developing. Don't get me wrong, they could get to that level very easily, but there can just be different times where there's players that are like, there's a massive gap between the best player on the field and the worst, and that just doesn't happen over there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, look, we'll get on to your time at Portsmouth in a bit. What do you think of the studio?
Mate, it's unreal. This is much better to have your own little spot, and it looks amazing.
Right, and the lovely shirt you've got
It
on
is.
today. That's all thanks to the Lightweight Athletic Club. If you go to shop at Lightweight Athletic, use UBF15 for 15% off all your lovely purchases. And if you see Hayden Mathews looking good in the Lightweight Athletic Club,
It should be a radio A with his.
Should be, yeah.
Now I have to start again, mate. Use UBF15 for all your Lightweight Athletic Club purchases. If you see Hayden wearing a Lightweight Athletic Club shirt, you know it's good. So yeah. Onto that.
Sorry.
The Premier League season has finished, which means our FPL.
What did United finish?
You support Chelsea.
Champions League football, baby. We are back.
$1.3 billion to finish fourth. But okay. That's besides the point. The FPL season has finished. And we'll get into it a bit more on Instagram. But our top three has been finalised.
Has it?
Yes.
Hayden, did you make the top three? Let's find out.
I don't think I was in the league, and I normally give up by about round 3.
You did better than me. I'm out round 2.
Yeah.
I triple captain Palmer in week 2. That didn't end well.
At some point, Tom's missus was above him. So that tells you
Game
everything.
week 0.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
More like game
Carry
week
on,
12.
yeah.
But
Carry on,
top three for the season.
Tell me.
We'll go third place. KJ.
KG, top 3. Yeah.
Finished 4 points above fourth place, which is crazy. Now, top 2 were 4 points apart as well.
Okay.
In second place, the MacArthur.
Wasn't that your number at Sydney?
4.
5.
Sorry.
You want to let me get through?
Yes, yeah, my apologies. Go.
Just for you.
Yep.
Kevin KG George finished in third, 2,419 points. Second place, MacArthur Bulls FC superstar, Christian Popovic, 2,450 points. And drumroll, please. Tomislav Gacic taking it out this year. Chavapi United with the win. 2,454, 4 points above second place. We'll be in touch, guys. Or reach out to us or reach out to you. Not too fussed there.
Hayden, if you won, what jersey would you pick? The winner gets 10 items from the Lightweight Athletic Club of their choice. And they also get 1 jersey of their choosing. If you could pick which jersey.
Surely a Portsmouth Hayden Mathews jersey.
I reckon he gets enough.
I do have plenty of them. I don't know. What's the best looking jersey out at the moment? Is there any?
The Arsenal home kit. Oh, have you seen the Arsenal away kit?
I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that.
Have you seen the Arsenal away kit for next year?
No one cares.
Anyway, decide which jersey.
I don't know, but I'd probably go for one that I wouldn't buy for myself. Like it's just a random club
Venezia,
from somewhere.
The Comos
one of
of the
those.
world.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Como collab one?
No.
No, I haven't. I haven't actually seen it. Yeah.
Here we go. Look,
that is a nice kit.
All right.
I'll give you that.
that is a nice kit.
And that's the third.
Not my favourite.
Anyway, put it this way: we're going to be winning.
That was Arsenal, guys. By the way,
we're winning all the trophies in that kit next year because the last time Arsenal.
It's a shame you play. It's a shame you play most of your games in your home and away kit, not the third. Anyway,
Hold on. The last time Arsenal finished second 3 times in a row, they went on to win the league the year after.
You know your club's in dire states when you resort to statistics like that.
Anyway, let's get into it, guys. The A-League semi-finals have concluded. Melbourne Victory beating Auckland 2-0. Very surprising. And Western United knocked out by the great Melbourne City. I believe it was 1-0 at the time.
And you will tell us an interesting stat for Melbourne City. Was it 5?
I think 5 in the last 6 finals they've been involved in, which is impressive.
Quick one off the cuff. How does that compare with Sydney's 3 years of greatness? No, seriously, because 5 and 6 is.
Oh, I thought you were taking the piss here for a second. No, okay. I thought it was another jibe about Sydney.
Hayden, carry on. As I politely asked you,
respectfully, coming from a team that hasn't won it domestically.
I'm going nowhere.
Anyway,
when you're at it.
I think Sydney's dominance in that 3 years was pretty special. The fact that City have only won one of the 5 they've been in.
I believe so.
Obviously, only 4 so far. Obviously, one's still in the air. I think anyone's going to struggle to come close to Sydney's. Oh, that might be a biased take, but personally, I would think Sydney's is.
Yeah, we've done it more often, more consistently.
Levels above that.
Yeah, and I think in terms of a proven track record, you look to Sydney for success.
Over 6 years to get to 5 finals.
Yeah,
5th one obviously being
only win 1. Like it's all good and well. Coming from an Arsenal fan, it's all good and well being there. But if you're not going to win it, if you're not going to take it out, then what's the point?
Well, speaking of being there, Abs, you were bet the house, bet the car, bet every loan. Abs, on Auckland getting there. Yeah. Hayden, were you surprised at all with Auckland's lack of finals experience that ended up costing them? Were you?
I was surprised that when they took a 1-0 lead back to Auckland that they weren't able to see the game out. I remember when we played them there, we come away from it being like they won't lose many games at home. And it was one of those ones where we'd scored, got disallowed, and we conceded 97th minute. I think the conditions down there, the way they play is suited to the field they play on. A bit thicker, you can't really move the ball too quickly. They sit in a low block and they defend really well. Very well organised, very well oiled team. Again, really good players as well. You got like the 2 centre halves, Dan Hall and Nando Pinecker had really good years. They're 6. I don't know how to say his last name. Verstrate, whatever. He for me is one of the better players in the league. Like when we come and played against him, he was everywhere.
Francis was incredible as well. De Vrij.
Yes, Francis De Vrij. Yeah.
Wow, what a player.
I think it was a matter of moments, but
yeah, it is. I mean, that call for the goal that got disallowed,
massive.
I do feel like it drifts out in the air.
Yeah.
But it's such a big call. If the linos called it, you can't really go like the linos called it. I don't think there's a definitive angle that proves against it.
No.
So you've kind of got to just stick with
But then that's where you kind of look to technology and the fact that it probably needs to improve here in Australia and in general in football, because we saw it yesterday morning with
But why is there not a camera in line with the goal line? I know there's goal line tech, but why is there not a camera there?
Yeah. It's funny. It reminds me of a discussion we had. With Claude from Optus.
Yeah,
I had a discussion with him, and he said a similar thing as well. That even just put an iPhone there. He made a joke like just put something there.
Yeah,
because it does look like it drifts out. But keyword, it does look like.
Yeah.
Is it definitive? Have we got a?
No.
well, that's football. Or even in England with Arsenal against Newcastle, if you remember, did the ball go out? We don't know. They said it probably didn't, but there was no angle, no camera, no technology to show us that it did.
At the end of the day, it's cost Auckland a spot. It's cost Aston Villa $100 million in TV revenue, et cetera, et cetera.
But where do you kind of put that for Auckland though? You can't just blame that itself, because you've had a good enough season and you've been able to knock over every team that you've had pretty much come up against you all season, and you've fallen short just at the end of the last third.
Well, I want to take it to obviously the professional route of the three of us. Hayden, you go 1-0 down in the semi-final. Okay, well, 1-0 down in any game away from home. Sorry, at home. You go 1-0 down at home to an experienced team like Victory. How hard is it when the chips are against you, everything's against you, you're playing in your home stadium with your fans, and everyone's shocked? How hard is it to get back mentally?
It's one of those ones where, like, I think the goal almost come out of nowhere as well.
Deflection.
Yeah, they felt like they've done everything right to a certain point, and then you find yourself back level on aggregate and down on the game, and it's like the momentum just changes.
Yeah. 2 goals in 5 minutes.
It changes so quickly, and you kind of don't even have a chance to think. Like, you've got to take the sting out of the game. You can't delay things, slow things down, get a foothold back in the game. You can't allow just because one goal went in another one, and I think that's probably where they went wrong. But I think Victory lifted as well after their first goal.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a fact of Auckland falling over, because I don't think they did that at all. It was Victory lifted, and I just don't think Auckland were able to match it.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to Victory, what's been their final series so far, it's moments.
Yeah,
Arzani stepping up,
against the Wanderers
throughout the whole season. It's been like that with Piscopo as well. Velupele, you look to them.
Brilliant plays.
They've all got unbelievable quality. Yeah,
what a roster, Victory. Yeah. Did you have the pleasure playing against Kisnorbo's side?
No, he'd already left by the time we played them, because we played them for the first time in the back end of December. 28th of December was the first time we played them. Yeah, they got a red card early on.
So, Arthur Dillis, how good is he as a coach? He's only been in the job for 160 days, I saw something like that.
Yeah, well, I think when we played them, he lost his first six, didn't he?
First 6 winners in 6.
I think we were in part of that.
You were in that.
Yeah, we were. So, and obviously the game changed in the 18th minute or something when Chashka was sent off. So it was tactically, though, I think still feel like they were in the game. Like, we were up 2-0 at half time, and obviously we come back out against 10 men. We just know we have to see the game out. Yeah. But they moved the ball around well. They still created chances with 10 men. We're probably lucky to keep a clean sheet that game in a way.
I remember that. It was the minute the red card happened. It just
we scored really early. We scored really early.
Yeah.
And then first half we moved the ball around, and he must have changed something at half time, because I feel like we not struggled to get back into the game, whether that was a change in our mentality where it was like, win the game.
Yep.
We're up 2-0, see the game out. You don't have to go score.
Yeah.
Or change in their mentality where it was like, okay, well, what have we got to lose?
Yeah. Well, where does that rank among, let's just say, not so much greatness, but where would you put Arthur Dials?
Arthur Dillis. That's bad.
Mate, I'll call him Dials, mate. Arthur Dials.
It's not.
Because he's dialing it up 24/7. No, but where would you rank his success this season? If he goes and wins it, potentially, after Kisnorbo left, everyone was like, oh, it's about to fall apart. You got too many egos in the squad. You can't handle this. And he goes on, gets to the grand final. And if he does take it out, where does Dillis rank among the greats?
I think it's a massive achievement. I think it's up to one of the best to be there. Obviously, he's got a brilliant roster, and the roster's aided him. But I think to take over in the circumstances that he had, winless in 6, to turn it around, taking over arguably one of the loudest and probably biggest figures in Patrick Kisnorbo coming from Melbourne City, I think that's going to be right up there. We're talking under maybe under Kepper Muscat, just.
Yeah.
Big call, but
I
think under Muskie.
No, not planning to paraphrase UBF, but you remember after the final in the press conference, we turned around and asked him a question. We pretty much said that, we want to look back at 6 months where you weren't winning games, I think to his specific words, he liked to say, we didn't not win. We didn't just lose. We didn't not win. They were drawing games through that period.
Yeah.
And he said that it helped us kind of create a backs against the wall mentality. And I think that's what it's been it for Victory. And personally, with their fan base, with the way the club is, that's where they're at their best.
Yeah.
If you're not a Victory fan, you don't like Victory. And it's one of the, it's true.
It's the same as Sydney. It is the same as Sydney. Like everyone in the league hates Sydney.
Yeah.
But that's as simple as that.
But we thrive with our backs against the wall.
Yeah.
We don't want to be everyone's second favourite team. We don't want to be, the team that everyone looks at.
It's a hard sell by FC, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's success. And the success drives these two teams. And respectfully, no one ever feels bad for us. No one ever feels bad for Victory.
No.
People feel bad for you guys. But that adds to the story. Back to the actual football. I think when it comes to Arthur Dillis, it comes to his mentality. He's hard-nosed. He's no different to Patrick.
Yeah.
That's probably why they worked well together. I believe he was the assistant under Smallbow. And he could have just been very similar to Bimby and Graham Arnold. I see no different here. I see someone who learned from the head coach, kind of understood the game, kind of honed his craft there, and basically took that blueprint and added his own 2-3 cents. Yeah. And what we've seen for the rest of the season coming from that, I think it's no short of greatness. And I personally, as a Sydney fan, shouldn't be saying this, but I don't want to see City win it. I really don't.
Yeah.
I've been on their case since before the season started, and I don't think they're as good as people make them out to be.
They're a good side.
I've said that from the start. I think that their season this year has been a lot of other teams haven't stepped up. Other teams, because when they've played the Wanderers, even when they've played us at certain points before that last game, when they've played the better teams, they don't look as polished. They don't look as good.
I didn't play against them. I
never.
No, I didn't. Not this year.
Oh,
I played against them last year, but not this year.
Yeah.
We didn't play them until
late in the season.
Yeah, really late on. Like it was 2 games within like 5 weeks almost.
The 2-2 you guys played against them, I remember correctly.
Take a game.
Great game. But you looked the stronger side. Yeah. Okay. You look at the games against Auckland, you look at their games. I think Western United's the only team they'll get the advantage over because I love JA, but there's no tactical.
There's tactical, but they're very transitional.
Yeah, but there's no kind of, they're not going to pin you down and kind of hold the ball
wear you down for 90 minutes.
They're going to run you off the park.
I want to take you to a massive decision that everyone's talking about how they won the game. Semi-final leg one. My apologies. Semi-final leg one. He starts Vargas. Semi-final leg 2, he brings in the experience of Bruno Foniaroli. Is that a tactical masterclass, or is that more leaning towards Vargas's inability to break down City's backline? Because it's a massive call. Away from home, to relying on Bruno to win you the league, and he scores.
Yeah. Obviously, everyone knows how good Bruno is and how good Bruno has been in the A-League for the past however long he's been.
Yeah.
He's experienced. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's a proven goal scorer.
Yep.
I think it more plays to Bruno Foniaroli's credit than anything against Virgos, because I marked Virgos. He's physical, he's big, he's quick.
Big boy.
Yeah, he's not easy to handle. He's one of those players that's always going to cause you issues. But then you got to play. You can't. How hard is it to keep a guy like Bruno Foniaroli, who's a proven goal scorer, proven everything on the bench in a do or die game? Like
absolutely,
it'd be almost. I think it's an even bigger call to leave him out. Like it would have been a bigger call to leave him out of the team.
Ooh, okay.
Like,
but that adds to his professionalism.
Yeah,
like that is 37-year-old. What have you, 37-year-old Bruno Foniaroli having to just pretty much accept the fact that I'm on the bench for the rest of the season, playing behind these young kids. That's as professional as it gets. Whether he leaves next season or not is obviously up to him. But, Martin said it 2 weeks ago. He'd start in any A-League team. He would genuinely start in every team up front.
Start or be part of the squad?
No, he would start. Seriously, think about it. What striker in the league would out-sit him right now?
Well, it depends. If you want to play a press, you can't press.
Yeah, depends the way you play, obviously. But
goals-wise,
I get what you mean. Like he's good for, if he was to start every game of the season, he's good for 10 goals a year.
Well, probably more than that.
Probably more, yeah.
Like if you had put him up front at Sydney or Wanderers this year, he's banging at least 15 goals in. If Sega could do it off the bench,
very different goals to what Bruno Foniaroli is used to scoring.
Correct, but if you get the ball at his feet 9 times out of 10, he knows what to do.
In and around the box.
That's what I'm saying. And most teams in this league specifically love to go outside to the left, cross the ball in, and he's then on top. Like that's the style of football we've created here. How often do you go to an A-League game? How many crosses do you see put into a box? That's we don't necessarily have too many.
It's a dying art. It's a dying art. Put a cross in the box and header it.
Yeah.
It's a dying art.
But that's because the number 9's changing though.
Correct.
Yeah.
You don't have number 9s that are 6'4" anymore and just head a ball and know how to score.
I think it's the other way around. I think we're going back towards that.
What?
Yeah, but
You've watched like half a game.
Haaland, like you look at the players in Haaland's not a massive aerial. He's massive. Don't get me wrong. He's really big, but he's not. His aerial ability isn't his best asset.
Oh yeah.
Whereas if you go back 15, 20 years, pretty much every number 9's best asset was their heading ability.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I think even if you're a big man, you have to play with the ball at your feet. You got to know what to do there. But we are heading back to the 6-foot striker.
Yeah, everything goes in waves because we're back at ball playing. We're with ball playing centre backs now, right? So centre halves are naturally probably a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, a little move around easier. So what's the best way to counter that? Stick someone massive on.
Stick Hayden Mathews up front.
Stick someone massive on them that's there to outmuscle them.
How'd you go up front?
Oh mate, I don't know. I used to be a striker back in the day.
He did.
I used to be a striker.
20 goal a season striker.
Yeah, that's generous.
Zlatan-esque.
That's generous.
Talking about Ronaldo.
Mate,
I'll just be running off the shoulder. Get me in
Maguire
behind.
region.
Get me in behind.
The OG Haaland.
Yeah.
That is good. We'll move on to the next game. West United versus Melbourne City. That goal was almost identical to the one in the first leg, I believe. It was pretty much copy paste. Did we think that they were gonna
I'll be
do
honest.
what they done to West United?
I'll be honest. I think it was done as the tie was announced. In my mind, there was no other winner. I never saw a transitional team like Western countering Melbourne City's ability. I just didn't say it because the way they hold the ball, as you were saying, second to none. The way they work you, the way they break you down slowly, it's like a painful death.
Melbourne City.
Yeah, you serious? Have you seen the way they play?
Look, I genuinely think this. I think if Auckland got through, there's no way they're beating
And that was
Auckland.
Auckland.
A final in Auckland would have been anyway. It's hard for anyone to go there and win. You got to travel as well.
Yeah.
The time difference. I know it's not a major one, but it all plays a factor.
Yeah. And the crowd as well.
The crowd.
Most of the crowd's going to be. Because remember, not everyone can afford to pay $2,500 for a weekend in Auckland.
No, because you got to stay there a couple nights or at least a night.
Yep.
Flights, everything. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
No.
And I reckon, Victory would get an allocation, but majority of people there would be Auckland fans, and it'd be a very hostile environment to go to.
Yeah. They're not an easy team to play against. And like I said, I'm probably their biggest hater this season, and I don't mean it in the
Loves
wrong way.
them. Speaks about him a lot, but he's a hater.
No. I'm not Auckland. I'm talking about City. I just genuinely think that the one team that would have beaten them would have been Auckland.
Okay.
You don't think Victory beat them?
No, I think Victory is too flashy to beat City. Now, I'll take this back. If Arzani and them men pull up on the day,
Oh, please God, no.
if he pulls up
that one out, please.
if he pulls up on the day, and pulls out a moment like he did for the last 2-3 weeks, I think they've got him.
Yeah, but they all have that. That's what I mean. They all have that quality.
If he's not stepping up, you got Piscopo. If Piscopo's not stepping up, you got much.
It's a matter of moments with Victory.
But it's a final.
So what do you think?
It's one game. It's 90 minutes. It's literally could be nil the whole game. Could be the most boring game. One moment changes everything.
Is he Arzani again? I know never played with him, but is he one of those players that you look at from a neutral now, especially as you're watching it? He's surely one of the best players in the league off the wing. Yeah. When he wants to, when he turns it on, he's up there. He's match
special. I mean, if you remember him back in when he first came into the A-League, before he got his move and the injury and things like that, he was next level, like pure excitement to watch.
What is it about those players? Is it the fact that the ability to take a player on, the braveness?
Yeah, I think it's just being brave, being able to take a player on whenever you get the ball. And backing yourself to win it, doing things quickly, making things happen from nothing, like these small little moments where it's just so enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. And what do you think it is that he gets criticised for a lot? Like I've likened his attitude a lot to Kyrgios. That's Kyrgios. And a lot of people hate it for the arrogance. They hate the arrogance his player carries. They hate the attitude that could come off. But at the end of the day, it delivers. It brings trophies. Like Kyrgios.
But I feel like you need a bit. As a player,
you do need a bit of arrogance. Confidence, at least, is the bare minimum. Yeah. Sometimes people are very confident. That leads into what is perceived as arrogance. Doesn't have to. Doesn't mean it is.
Yeah. So obviously, speaking not for him, on behalf of him.
Yeah.
But What do you reckon why he hasn't achieved the heights that was projected for him?
The injury definitely hindered him massively, and I think that probably played on his mind a lot as well.
Especially when you're going towards the play, you go, oh fuck, if I get tackled, am I going to get? Am I going to cop it?
Well, probably not even just that, but it's like everything was going so well for him, and then you have a 12-month setback.
Massive.
It makes a big difference. Then when you come back, you're not quite at that level where he was beforehand, and then it's a lack of confidence, a lack of everything, and it can all unravel as quickly as he got to there. It can all unravel just as quickly.
Yeah.
And I think he's always had that quality. I remember the Australia Cup final when it was at MacArthur.
Yes.
Against Sydney United, electric.
Yeah.
I was watching that game thinking like he's back to his levels, but then the rest of the season he didn't quite.
Poor.
I wouldn't say he was poor, but he didn't quite reach the levels of what I watched from that game where I was like, wow, like this guy could be the best player in the league.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, NPL team, but they made it to an Australia Cup final. Like you can't discredit.
Got to respect it.
You can't discredit the opponent because of where they are. They did their dues. They got to the grand final, and for me, he was the best player on the park that day.
Well,
couldn't agree more.
I think his best years are still ahead of him.
Oh, he's 100%. He's still. Well, how old is he? 24.
24.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Keeps it up. Has a big one or two moments. Is Papa calling?
And Pop already called.
Yeah.
Or like become a regular.
Like putting him on speed dial.
Yeah.
Is Popper putting us
the
on
favourite
speed
icon?
dial?
Yeah.
I don't see why not. Obviously, Popper's worked with him. Popper, I think,
understands
him and knows how to get the best out of him. And I think that also goes back to what Arthur Dillis was able to do at Victory.
Yep.
Yeah.
He had a relationship with the players already. He wasn't coming in as someone else that had to earn the respect in a way. Obviously, a coach gets respect naturally, but as players, you always want the best, right? And if you don't know who's coming in, you don't know. Like, you just don't know what to expect. Whereas he's already probably had that relationship, even a closer relationship than he does now with the players when he was the assistant.
Yeah.
And then now he's gone into the coaching role, the main manager role, and I think he's been able to take that and implement that. And I think that, like working with players previously, makes a massive difference. You see Nishan Valupale, I think when his first call up for the Socceroos, I don't think anyone saw it coming.
Yeah.
Well,
but how good has he been?
Incredible.
And Popper knew that.
Yeah.
Popper's worked with him.
Yeah.
So I think you just gotta. I think he does get the call up if he has another good game like he did against Wanderers. He
killed us. He killed us. Absolutely killed us.
Well, how important is it to have that relationship? Because, you know, whether it's football or whether it's work or whatever it is, having a good relationship with your manager and being able to, you know, we spoke with Luke Braddon 2 weeks ago and he said Ange Postecoglou.
He sends his regards, by the way.
he didn't have that relationship with the players. He didn't want to have a personal relationship with them. But it worked. He won trophies. But how important is it? And I think the modern day player, the younger player now, you know, those in our age range, you need to have that personal relationship. But how important is it to you as a player, and how important do you think it is to players like Valupale, like Arzani, and those who get criticised more often than not?
It just helps with comfortability. If you go into a place where you don't feel welcomed or well received, you're going to be on edge, and you're not really. You might start to overthink things, and obviously now having gone through a move and having had a coach that's really helped me through everything, it made that transition period so much easier. And everyone else at the club like welcoming me with open arms as well, and having familiar faces and having people there that you feel like you can trust or you can trust makes a massive difference in adapting and being able to settle in quickly. And obviously for a young kid coming into their first national team camp,
crazy.
It is like having that familiar face there and having a coach that already knows what he can do and already he doesn't have to prove himself. So he's already comfortable where he's like, I'm here on merit more than anything. And for Nishan, I think it's done wonders for him. He scored like three goals in 4 games, I think, for the national team. That's an incredible return.
Now, before we move on from this, I need your predictions.
I'll go first. 3-1 victory.
3-1 victory.
I was going to go 1-0 victory.
1 goal game.
Yeah.
Wow.
KG affair.
Can I press you for your goal scorer?
Oh.
Bruno starts, surely Hayden.
Yeah, I think it's Bruno's moment. I think it is.
against his former employer as well.
Yeah, I think it is. It's just built for him. Like it really is.
I'm gonna lock mine in 4-2 Melbourne City.
Okay.
And where do they get the 4 goals from, Abs?
You'll find out.
So that's how
My brother Aziz is gonna score.
Well, he's got 2 in 3 games as well.
That's it.
He's in goal scoring form.
Mate,
He's going to score 4, Hayden. He does that.
Okay,
He does that. I'll personally fly to Portsmouth. This is on camera. I'll personally fly to Portsmouth.
And do what?
What if he scores 4 goals?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously that's not. Hey,
Get the box ready for me, Hayden.
No, I can't tell you where they're gonna come from, but I'm at this point. Listen, I've made that many calls this year with the A-League. I said Melbourne City would finish like 12th or 11th or whatever it is at the start of the year. Before the season started.
Before the season started, after their Australia Cup game against Perth, I think everyone wouldn't have questioned you. And then with the injuries they've had, I'm surprised they've had the season they have.
Yeah, and then I've put my neck on the line out for Sydney, and then I said Macarthur were
Auckland
were going to finish top 6, and then lost half the squad in January.
So what we're hearing is that Victory are going to win.
Correct. 4-2. It will be
you went Victory. Melbourne City 4-2. And you know what? It'll be 2-2 with 10 minutes to go.
Wow, okay, 2 late goals.
Please take no.
You think the youth outlast the experience in a late game?
Aziz in the last 2 minutes is just going to go.
I'm going to die.
Well, he's going to finish his hat-trick and then
fourth, pretty much.
Yeah.
Nah,
Hayden, I'm so sorry for you back from Portsmouth.
Listen, someone's got to spice that up. What would it be if we all went, oh, yeah, Melbourne Victory going to win, and then they lose, and then we're all sitting there with our like towels between our legs just going, oh, sorry, we got it wrong. You said that freaking Ibasuki would be one of the worst signings in the A-League this season, and he's proved...
Be honest. He's so awkward to mark, isn't he? He's just gangly.
He's just so big.
Yeah.
Like he just is, like he's taller than me. He's just so, and I think he's the only striker that I've marked that I've actually like.
Sorry.
Yeah. Like he is just so big, and he pretty much has free reign to do what he wants. He loves coming off the line and receiving it on a half turn. And that just makes it awkward for a centre back when there's a player that, obviously one of my strengths is my pace. And it's like, he knows that. So not once did he run in behind when I was marking him. But yeah, he checks off the line and you like really want to go in with him, but it opens up massive spaces if you do.
Who have you struggled with the most?
Great question.
Which defender in this league have you could say that I don't want to play him again?
I think on the day that there was, obviously I probably didn't have my best game, but Alu Kuol against when I played Mariners. When we played Mariners and we had the 10 men, he
this was away.
Away, yeah.
We were there.
I probably didn't have my best game anyway, but he's so athletic. It is ridiculous. And even in the second game against them, there's one clip I saw of a header and I've jumped. He jumped 2 seconds before me and was still hanging in the air. And won a header. I was like, that's freaky stuff. Like he's super athletic. He's quick. He's got that aerial ability and he's got the ability to run in behind as well. And just makes it difficult for you.
I remember, I think Harrison the Venice Mares tried to out-jump him as well.
First A-League start and he's
unfortunate.
He's got sent off.
But look, I think that's about it for the A-League in terms of this week. I want to get on to your disastrous
beloved club,
Premier League club that you support, Manchester United. We'll lead this into the Europa League, obviously, with Tottenham's big win. But finish 15th, you finally got a win. I believe that's 6 wins in 17 since Amarim's taken over or something around that. It's been disastrous. No European football next season. Group stage exit, I believe. No, it wasn't a group stage exit. That was last year. You had the loss in the final in the Europa League. No domestic trophies. I believe it's your lowest league points total in God knows how long.
Long time.
What's gone wrong, Hayden?
I don't know.
No one does.
In a short way, even when Amarim come in, I think they were 4 points off.
Fourth.
You were 8th or something like that. Yeah.
Like it was.
That was tight.
It was definitely not the way everyone was expecting it to go, but it was the way things were starting to look. Things were starting to look a bit bleak.
Yeah.
You reckon before he came, they were starting to look bleak?
Well, otherwise they wouldn't have got rid of Ten Hag.
Still don't think they should have got rid of him, but yeah.
It's one of those ones where it's a massive call to make, and you either make it like the worst decision is indecision. You have to make a decision, right?
Yeah.
And I think Ten Hag, I was all for him staying.
Yeah.
But my only thing with him is what I didn't actually see an identity in the way they were playing. Like there was no improvement. Whereas I know people might say, but under Amorim, like there's been games where expected goals, it's a bit of a nothing stat. But you can see games like against Bournemouth, we drew 1-1. They had one half chance they score.
Yep.
We create 5-6 good chances and don't find the back of the net.
Yeah.
Wolves score a free kick, dominate the game, lose 1-0. It's like, but I can see where it's going.
So you see an identity.
I do. I personally, when I've watched them play, I've seen. I can't say it's an improvement, but I see what they're trying to implement, and either the players just are just adjusting to it. I'm not sure. I think it's obviously very different to the way Ten Hag wanted to play the back five or the back three, really.
Yeah.
And obviously, no European football next year means financially it's not going to be as easy. Especially we've just spent 62 million on Matheus Cunha.
Yeah.
Now we've talked about the players that. We've talked about the players that Amorim requires in his system, those fullbacks and those two, let's say, modern 10s behind the 9. Can Cunha be one of those two modern 10s, do you think? Can he play?
Think so.
You reckon?
I think so.
You don't think he's going to be the 9?
God, no. No.
I thought, but like when he come in, Højlund and Xerxes both started scoring every week.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like
you're right.
Yeah. These first like 5 or 6 games, it was like.
But that's the manager bounce probably.
But it was just like it just seemed like we got scoring through our strikers again. And the striker was getting on the end of things, and then they both kind of obviously Xerxes had his injury.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not sure what it was, but that first little bit when they first come in, like we're scoring through our strikers again, and that didn't really happen under Ten Hag. I feel like a lot of the weight fell onto Bruno and stuff.
Look, I'll forever say this. I think you saw it in the first month, or 3-4 months at Ten Hag, and you saw it in the first 3-4 months of Ruben. I remember when Mikel took over from Emery, and I'll forever say this to Chelsea fans and then Man United fans. You're not going to see that improvement, that progress you're looking for, nor will you see the identity in the first year.
Yeah.
Now,
a clear established one. You must see manager
you might see
bounce.
something he's trying to do, but there's no guarantee it's going to be working straight away.
But at the same time, you got to let the club it's a working relationship. And now we're grateful that from when Mikel took over, the Cronkies effectively took full control of the club. Yeah. They began to have a working relationship with Mikel. They began to ask him, what do you need? What do you want? And now what's the plan for the next 5 years? You can't turn it over. Now, you guys at Chelsea have turned over a squad in like 4 windows. $1.3 billion. Not everyone can
We've got
do that.
48 players in the squad. Bro.
Yeah, but no one can do that. Now, we've seen it at Sydney this year, for example, where we've brought in half a squad and changed it up. It's not always going to work. It's a gradual improvement. Now, I rate Ten Hag. I think he's going to do well at Bayer Leverkusen because I'm pretty sure that's almost
it's right. I saw that today, actually.
Now, if you give him the time and you tell him, okay, we're going to give you 4 years. What's your 4-year plan? You'll get there.
That's how an effective club is run.
Okay. Now, Manchester United's problems, will forever say this, and I'll scream it at the top of my lungs from every building. Their problem starts at the top.
Of course it is.
I think the problem started when Fergie left, though. Like with Fergie, and then obviously that first year, David Moyes, we finished 7th. Gone. No chance to give yourself another go. Like, because we won the last league with Fergie and then finished 7th. It was just like that's not good enough. Out you go.
But Fergie and Wenger were the dying breed.
Yeah, but it just started a trend. Every United manager from that point onward has been
not been given a chance.
Yeah.
But the club won't give them the control that they want. Now, Fergie and Wenger, outside of, I think, Klopp, Pep, and maybe Mikel now, like they've got full control from who's washing the kits to who's giving us the money at the top.
But Fergie's first 3 years at United wasn't anything successful either.
No, but at the same time, they gave him the time.
Exactly.
But he built
Plus, he demanded control of everything.
Yeah.
But clubs didn't have the money to just start sacking managers back in the day.
No.
Whereas nowadays, they don't care.
Yeah. But that's why it was a lot easier back in the day. If your star player wasn't playing well, you go, see you later. It costs a lot less to get rid of your star player than it does the manager, because if you get rid of Amorim now, just think about it. If they go and sack Amorim tomorrow, where do you go? Because I think Amorim's your last chance. I can't see a way around it. Ancelotti's gone to Brazil.
Listen, we've seen many. I get Amorim and I get whatever he's trying to do there. I still think though, if you look at, like, you need a lot of players, man. You've got your average age, nearing a retirement home here.
There's a lot of young players.
You got Casemiro, you got Eriksen.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but you need a
few midfield.
in every squad.
Midfield.
Yeah, midfield, okay, yeah. But you've still got Kobe Mainu, Garnacho. Højlund's 22 or something.
But
Ahmad's young. Like, it is Dorgu as well.
Garnacho's got the attitude of Ronaldo and the expected output of a lot of NPL one wingers here.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, seriously, like, we've talked about these two players behind the number 9. Let's say, for example. You've got Maguire and most likely Delict. Oh, sorry, Yoro, maybe. Whatever.
Yeah.
You need a left back, you need a right back. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Shaw's half hospital, half playing.
Malacia hasn't recovered from his injuries.
He's at Ajax, brother. He's gone. Oh, he's at PSV, I think.
No, did he leave?
Yeah. He's at loan.
Wasn't it? I thought it was a
loan, yeah. But it's like, so the money's not going to come from nowhere. You've already spent 63 on Cunha. Okay, that's a position you needed, no problem.
Yeah.
You need a right back, you need a left back, and you probably need another. You reckon you can go with that? Right
Mazraoui I like Mazraoui, but I know he ends up playing centre half most of the time. But
because I think in Amnarin's system, you need at least Maitland will start, no problem.
Yeah,
you can't have another season with Casemiro.
No,
come on, let's be real. Kind of Eriksen
had a couple good moments this year still.
Keyword a couple.
Yeah, but
that's resulted in 15th.
But you need a balance. Now, I agree with you.
I'm not saying get rid of him. Yeah. I'm saying let's put him.
He's not going to play 38. He's not going to play 38 Premier League games next year.
No, 100%. But you look at that team, I agree. Probably a very underrated opinion. I don't think Onana's that bad.
No, not at all.
You'll disagree, but you also see it very much. Oh, he's made a mistake. He's shit. That's not how it works. If I'm facing 9 shots, 10 shots
what's
in a
the
game,
keeper's job?
To keep the ball out of the net. Hold on, but if you're a boxer, but if you're a boxer, sorry, I know what you're trying to get to with it. If you're a boxer and you could withstand punches, and I punch you 12 times in the face, by the time I hit you the 13th time, you're going to be knocked out.
So what differentiates a Courtois and the Noise and the Buffons?
Because Courtois and Neuer don't face 53 shots a game. They don't on target. Yes, Onana will save 9 shots out of 10, but it's that one that he makes a mistake.
What's Onana known for? Be honest.
He was meant to be one of the best ball playing keepers when we signed him.
Okay, correct.
And
do you want to know how many mistakes he's made actually passing the ball out?
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't look good.
He doesn't look confident at all.
Because if you're playing at Inter and you've got a back three of Bastoni, De Vrij, and a Chodoby, a lot better than your back three of United.
It's also a much more defensive system as well.
Which aided his game because in Serie A, now could be wrong. The pressing, I don't believe, is as high pace in the Prem.
You think the pressing is high pace in Serie A?
No, in the Prem.
Okay, it's not as high as in the Prem.
Yeah. So the pressing in the Prem is a lot more faster pace than Serie A.
Yeah.
I think that's where he struggles. I think in any pressure scenario, I just don't think he's made for it.
I think it's more trust. I think the trust in his teammates in front of him. The amount of times you see...
Abdul, at the end of the day, your goal is to protect... The goalkeeper's job is to protect their goal. It doesn't matter if you're playing with a bunch of ring-ins. Stop the fucking ball going in there.
Correct. But again, I'm no professional goalkeeper. Nowhere near.
He has rocked up to any trials, Hayden, with you?
No semi-pro keeper either. But I can tell you, being a goalkeeper myself, that position is anxiety riddled. That position, if you could make 10
I love you.
Yeah.
But it's a fucking professional established
Correct,
position.
Tom. But at the same time, it goes back to what I say. As a goalkeeper, when you're facing 50 shots a game, one's about to go in. Okay? When you're, let's just say, making 10 saves and your team can't go across the other side and put the ball in the back of the net, the person that gets frustrated, that's not his job. But at the same time, if I'm making 10 saves in the game, you better be, if you're the striker, but this is the problem, goalkeepers will never be looked at unless they make miraculous saves. The basic 3 or 4 saves you make a game go unnoticed.
Who's a better keeper, De Gea or Onana?
De Gea. But I was a massive De Gea fan, and
so why do we get rid of De Gea for a keeper that supposedly that can play?
I couldn't tell you, but De Gea didn't have a club for a year after he left United either, so there must have been something else going on. But again, as a defender myself, the mistakes that defenders and goalkeepers make get highlighted a lot more.
That's true.
Like, they won't talk about Xerxes missing 4 shots in the game. They'll talk about Onana's one mistake. No.
They do.
They definitely do.
Okay, but if Xerxes misses 4 shots in a game and
I get your point. I agree with you.
It's like Maguire.
I agree with you.
Yeah. If you lose a game 1-0 and it's a defender's mistake, they get blamed for the game.
Correct. Yeah.
Whereas there was still even almost 100 more minutes of football where nothing was created. It always... Like goalkeeper is one of the hardest positions on the field.
Agree. Speaking of goalkeepers, let's turn it to today's result with the brother's name, who I'm not going to dare pronounce. What's the
Bayinda? Yeah, something like that.
Hayden, be in touch with that gentleman there from the backup keeper. Morgan Rogers appears to kick it out of his hand. Appears to, keyword, appears to. And referee blows his whistle before it goes into the net. Hayden, yes or no? Was it a foul? Should they have overturned it? Could they have overturned it in your opinion if you could change the rules?
It's not a foul.
Not a foul.
He doesn't have control of the ball.
So you reckon the goalkeeper was in full control of the ball?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't in full control of the ball. He has like a touch on the ball,
but it was his own accord. So Morgan Rogers did not kick it out of his hand.
No. It wasn't. It wasn't secured in his hands.
Yep.
And then obviously, I don't think the ref blowing his whistle actually changes anything. But according to the rule, like the between when the ref blew his whistle and when the ball went in the net was probably like 2 seconds. No one could have reacted. No one could have done anything differently. No one stopped because the ref blew his whistle.
Yep.
But he's still obviously once he's blown his whistle, you can't really rule on it because the play's dead.
Yeah, but I think what players should start doing from now on, and then like we talked about off camera, Aubameyang done it a few years ago. Yeah, the flag went up, whistle went, he still kicked the ball in the back of the net, VAR sent it up, checked it.
Yeah, I think they've changed the rule because of that.
A bit different.
Yeah, they need to now, they'll change it back because of this. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, if VAR is they've done it a million times.
For me, that's a clear and obvious ever. For me.
Yeah,
especially what's riding on the game. Hayden, apparently, what was the figure? 100 million.
Yeah, £100 million for competing in the Champions League. So
for a club like Aston Villa.
And you got to think about who they've brought in on loan, who they've brought in, the wage bill.
They needed it.
Emi Martinez has probably had the most. Did you see his red card?
Yeah,
bro. Like, he went full on forearm. Like,
UFC.
Oh,
I don't really get why.
Why he did it?
Like, I know why he's rushing out because obviously the keeper, like, obviously you get a back pass and you think you can get there for probably that split second. You make a decision to go for it. At the point where you lose the ball, I would not be making that challenge.
No. Because if you look at it, like I watched it a couple of times, 0.25 speed, because I've got nothing better to do with my life in the morning. Am I right that he's redirected himself to take out the play?
As soon as Højlund goes past him, he locks on with them steps and just hits him. Like,
that's clear.
But it's like the touch was going away from goal.
Correct.
Yeah. Like, okay, if he still scores from there, okay, you go down 1-0. Yeah. You have 11 players on the field.
Correct.
I low-key reckon he's just done the very most Emi Martinez fashion thing that you could do. It's my last game.
What a way to leave the club.
Yeah, it's a split-second decision. It's so hard to make, like, really think about the bigger picture when you're in the moment.
Yeah.
But he's probably better off conceding there than getting sent off.
Because it's still a difficult angle for Højlund to score, considering the magnitude of the game.
Yeah.
It's a difficult angle to score.
I think Højlund, his next touch isn't a shot.
No, correct.
His next touch, he like straightens himself up and then tries to shoot.
And
you've
got Matty Cash running back. You got Konza running back.
Yeah, so there's a chance that he could still miss it. He was on the corner of the box. There's no guarantee he goes in the goal.
Yep.
But again, in the moment, split second, you make a decision. You gotta live with the consequences. If we sat here, he'd come out, didn't take him out, and the United score, they lose the game 1-0.
Yeah.
We're sat here saying, why doesn't he foul him?
True.
So we're always going to just question the outcome, the decision because of the outcome.
Yeah, 100%.
Outcome's Abdul, favourite word.
Yeah, favourite word, mate. I've heard that a lot around football this year. So I'll tell you this, though. He's one of those players for me that he left Arsenal in good fashion.
Yeah.
He spoke very well once he left to the club. It took him 2 months, and I don't think I've resented a player more in my life
I don't like
than
him.
Emi Martinez. Yeah. Between that, the World Cup, and just...
You didn't like him at the World Cup?
What, him doing one of the whatever he was doing with the
trophy?
With the trophy.
Yeah.
Like,
no, okay, but
what do you reckon of his antics?
There's an arrogance about him.
Yeah, but I wanted Messi to win, so I was once Australia were out. Obviously, that was kind of like my
your team.
I wanted.
Have you got an Uber I can book here, or got an Uber I can book here?
Put it this way. Could have very well been Australia that World Cup.
Hey, we only lost to the 2 finalists.
Yep.
In that whole World Cup. So.
Fucking
third place.
Could have had a freaking public holiday named after the Socceroos.
Speaking of Australians, Abdul.
No, we'll get there in a sec.
No. It's perfect segue.
Where will United finish next year?
Oh, yes, sorry, good question. If you get your signings.
The problem without the Champions League football, there aren't as many signings as there would be. There's not that pool. I think every player is probably looking at it being like, this is a tough ask.
Yeah. Couldn't make sense.
But there's no excuses now. There's no excuse next year.
Yeah.
Like the fact there's no Champions League football, you have the league. You have the league to focus about. Don't worry about Carabao Cup. Don't worry about the FA Cup. They will come if you're playing well in the league. The focus is the league.
We had that season, I believe, in Mikel's second full season.
Yeah.
Where we ended up with Tottenham basically in a race for fourth. It's the best season for the club because it actually allows you to see who you want, who you don't want.
But there's no excuses. If we had won the Europa League final, right?
Yeah.
Now we're sitting here, we play 10 Champions League group games, we get the extra money, and we're like, it's all right. We might get out of the group.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It doesn't matter about the league, which is what we did the last 10 weeks of the Prem season.
Basically,
it was all about making sure players were ready to go in the Europa League final.
Yeah. Look,
it was a gamble, but it didn't pay off.
You didn't give us an answer.
It's been impartial.
Conference League.
7th?
From 15th to 7th.
It's not that big of a jump.
Couple wins.
Where did Forest go from last year to this year?
Almost relegated.
Forest are a different team, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but
From 15 to 7th.
Forest don't have the money. I don't think United.
But you guys won't either.
I don't think.
you've got no pool.
But I don't think 15th is. If there was no Europa League, I don't think we finish 15th
Who finishes higher? Tottenham or you?
without the Europa League
No. Next year.
next year.
Considering
United.
They got the money.
United.
I would say United.
I'll tell you this. I'm going to go out and live and say United will finish above Chelsea next year.
such a fuck.
Chelsea will not be able to handle Champions League.
Please
coming
come back to
together.
this. Please come back to
Yeah,
this.
but
episode.
I'm just I think I obviously am being optimistic.
Yeah.
But I think that's the bare minimum next year. No.
Have to. And I'd be very surprised if they don't. Let's just say you get rid of 4 or 5 players, deadwood players. You know, you start to see, and I'll forever say this, Maguire is actually a good defender.
Not bad.
Yeah.
He's not bad.
He's
He's
a
actually not bad.
It's just the £80 million price
Pirouette
tag.
today.
Yeah.
I see he did a pirouette.
The pirouette?
So good.
No, I didn't say it.
The first half, he did a
Yeah,
pirouette.
I've seen it.
It was incredible.
No, I need to go
I think
back and
man, you
watch
watched the same up the sport highlighted.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably did.
I'll tell you this though. Between him, Yoro, De Ligt, you're set for centre backs.
Yeah,
Not bad
and
fight,
you got Lisandro Martinez as well.
But I think he'll go to left back.
Left wing back though.
In
or
Amarin's system.
CDM.
Yeah.
Played CDM at Ajax.
Yeah.
You know when...
Sorry, if you're playing Manu and Martinez, that's a
Yeah, but
very
it's not a bad-
diminutive.
yeah, but Tom-
it's very
yeah.
diminutive in Amnarin's system to cover the 3 centre backs.
Yeah, but it allows Manu to actually play in his stronger position, which is a bit more of a driving...
So wouldn't you need a bigger 6 then? A
No.
traditional more 6.
Yeah, look, Kante done it. Literally, Martinez and
Sorry,
Kante
if-
are the same size.
Are we trying to compare Kante to Martinez? I think this isn't even.
What's
please.
Kante doing now?
Oh, stop.
Kante's done it. Yeah,
Stop,
Kante
please,
doesn't.
stop,
He has
stop,
nothing
stop.
left to prove.
I'm just saying. A base for that season...
I've never met a brother that gives so much hope to other clubs but despises them at the same time.
Put it this way, because I'm a neutral.
No, you're not.
I can
You
put
are so
my
far
feelings
from it.
aside.
You're
I can put
not.
my feelings aside. What I'm trying to say is when it comes to Lisandro, at least for next season, until they finish in a position where they can sell the club to a decent player, Lisandro Martinez might just have to be a band-aid option to either play left wing back, whether people like it or not, or to play at CDM.
The problem with I think the problem with a lot of the big clubs is there's no successful on sales.
No.
Like the clubs that have the most money, they bring in players for the most money. Who are they going to sell the player to unless they're like another really massive club? And how much profit are they really going to make?
Yeah, the position you're in now might help you do that.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, if you're not, they're going to have to turn to cheaper signings. But if United would keep signing players for £100 million,
Won't work.
even if they're the best player in the world, how much more are you going to get from?
Correct.
You gotta-
But I feel like that's where the small clubs are built for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Built for it.
Yeah, but that's now you can't get rid. You've got no money to spend.
That's why like clubs like United need European football. We have no money to spend. We
Must.
need
Yeah.
at a bare minimum Conference League next season.
I think this.
How much
will
you get
help
for
you
Conference League?
It can't be heaps, but it's something.
Something.
Look, I'll be honest. I think when it comes to the way you guys buy and sell next year, it's going to teach the club that has been spending hundreds of millions of dollars, 80 million, 90 million, 100 million to, okay, we need a left back. We have 45 million to work with. How can we work with our transfer budget?
Well,
But I think clubs will know that. And then
Yeah.
they will bargain with you and they will go, oh, yeah, you want him? No problem. You've only got that? 60 million. No
But
problem.
that's when you
That's what they'll do.
you dig your heels into the ground, and they've needed to do that for a long time. You know,
Yeah.
I think this is probably might be their most beneficial period. You know, you've got no excuses anymore.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we will find out. I at one point was saying the same thing. Like it's probably a good thing for the club long term to not be playing Champions League football next year.
Yeah.
But financially, short term, it puts a lot of pressure on the club.
Massive.
Yeah, well, you know, Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, they've got a job to do coming.
Some more tea ladies might be in trouble, I'll tell you that. Judging by.
But listen, put it this way: the talk of the town, the talk of the country, actually. And my feed on Thursday, I believe it was it Thursday?
Was it through my messages to you?
Through everything, all I saw was Ange Postecoglou.
There's 3 or
This.
4 podcasts that tagged him specifically. I cried.
Oh, were
It was
they?
the best thing in the world.
They killed me. They're like, oh, you know, they've won it before Arsenal. I'm like, yeah, it means the day of judgment might be coming earlier. If Tottenham are winning a trophy, it means the world might end a lot sooner than we think.
And then Harry Kane goes with the trophy as well. Incredible.
Put that, and then Son winning a trophy. I'm telling you,
One sec. Off the cuff, have they had a better season than Arsenal? Don't say word. Just off the cuff.
No.
No. The question was not directed
No,
to you.
the answer is no. But I can
Why is it Hayden?
I can see why people can argue it and why it rattles so many Arsenal fans because they know there's substance to the argument. You know there is. If you look at the season, strip it back to forget whatever. Champions League qualification, both of them got. One team won a trophy, one team didn't. Like I know you understand that point, and that's why it actually like it affects you. But Arsenal have had a better season.
Why? Stop.
Because they were better for a longer period of time of the season. They performed better. They actually were competitive in the Champions League. Like I think it is a big season for their club as a whole. Like beating Real Madrid comfortably over 2 legs, like you earn a lot more respect.
The beating Manchester United in the final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Respectfully though, what are they to show for it?
But how can you discredit someone for how can you discredit them for not winning a trophy when they were too good to qualify for that competition? If they had qualified for the Europa League last year, they would have won it. If they had qualified for the Conference League, they would have won it. So they could walk away with a trophy, but they were too good to qualify for those
3s in a row. They're finishing the same position.
Yes, that is why I didn't have them to win the league this year in my predictor.
If history repeats itself, we win the league next year.
If
Put it this way,
it's a very specific bit of history to repeat.
I look forward every week to every Monday. I come here and I sit down. I go, I'll give me one of your obscure history facts.
Yeah.
This guy delves in on a Sunday night, just finds the most obscure stat, linking that guy from Antarctica to that guy in Greenland, and their cousin is somewhere in the middle of the equator. And that means that Arsenal's going to win the
history is meant to be written, and sometimes history repeats itself. Sometimes the page is printed twice. God knows, anything could happen. Put it this way:
next year there'll be an issue at the printing company.
No.
If Arsenal win the league, it's not because they come second the last 3 years in a row, and that happened back then. That's not why they're going to win the league.
Any history could repeat itself, Hayden.
It might.
God works in mysterious ways.
Why have Arsenal had a better season than Tottenham?
We didn't finish 17th.
If I change the narrative, Tottenham finished top 10. Better season?
No.
I'm not asking.
No, but respectfully, I'm not going to crash out here. But like,
Let's crash that.
But
when we used to play in the Europa League, when you guys used to play in the Europa League a few years ago, we'd have to play Chelsea and Atletico Madrid just to get to the final. They've got to play Alphabet FC.
Oh, here we go.
no, but you as an Arsenal fan, you've been there where you used to scrape Champions League qualification, win an FA Cup.
Yeah.
What do you prefer? Prefer now or do you prefer back then?
Oh, definitely now.
Exactly.
Definitely now. Consistency. We didn't have to, and it's the way we've done it. I'm
consistently second.
Who cares? Consistently.
You know what consistency I'll give you?
Yeah, 3 years finishing above you guys.
There
And
we
we
go,
haven't
there you
had,
go.
you've spent more in
He's
the last.
resorted to
No,
it.
but you've spent more. Chelsea have spent more in the last 2 years than we have in 5 or 6. And to what? To sit there and scrape fourth? To be fair with you, we'd probably be in a much more tighter title race if we weren't for the injuries, and even you know that.
Yeah, Liverpool.
Almost no injuries this year.
They haven't had many injuries to their big players. They've still had injuries. Every team's had injuries though. But like to keep Salah, Van Dijk, and like a lot of their players fit for the majority of the season. Like,
Hayden, we started with Kieran Tierney at centre back, and it wasn't because it was the last match day. We didn't have anyone else.
Yeah.
Like we've gotten to a point now where Saka missed 3 to 4 months of the season. Odegaard missed 3 months of the season. Havertz missed 3 months of the season. Martinelli missed about 2. Partey was
Must be a
out.
tough preseason.
Partey was out for no, but it wasn't that it was a tough preseason, Tom. It's just unfortunate. Liverpool had this type of season 4 years ago and almost finished 9th. If it wasn't for the last 3-4 weeks. I'm telling you, there's levels to this. Seriously, there's levels to this.
Can I go back to our...
No. But I just want to get this point because it's probably the last time I'm going to speak about Arsenal for the next
Hopefully for a long time.
3 months.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
There's levels to doing this. And for a club to have as many injuries, as many, let's just say, red cards, even the 4 or 5 red cards.
There we go, discipline.
No, but seriously.
There we go, discipline.
That is your own fault though.
That is to our own fault, but we still haven't lost the games, Hayden. The amount of games we've had a red card that we've gone and still picked up a result. Yeah. Yes, we may have not won all these games. Yes, we've finished with the same amount of losses as Liverpool this year. But part of that has come down to luck.
Is he one of the most delusional Arsenal fans you've met?
No, but I don't think I'm speaking out of my ass here.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong in what you say. Like the fact you only lost like 4 games?
4 games.
4 games all year is impressive, but drawing 15,
that's what's let us down.
You just don't have that knack to win.
Thank you.
Yeah,
correct.
And that will cost you more.
But there's an argument, and I've had this argument with Sui, and I've had it with a few of the other guys. We don't have depth. There's no such thing. You can't foresee that many injuries.
No, of course. Like the same thing happened with Portsmouth this year. Like the centre halves, I think it was something almost like 16 different centre back pairings throughout the league.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And like you can't plan for that amount of injuries. And it's crazy to think like how you can have that many injuries in one position specifically.
It's like us with fullbacks with Arsenal. No, seriously.
No, but we weren't talking about Arsenal first.
No. But no. In all seriousness.
Yeah, when you're ready.
Like, I don't know what's funny here, but we've got 7 different fullbacks, 7 different left backs or whatever it is. They were all injured at one point.
Yeah.
All 7 of them were injured, and we had Partey at right back. And you know our track record with Partey at right back? We haven't won a game. Like, we just...
Maybe we should stop playing him at right back.
No, but you don't have anyone else. Sometimes you get to that point. And sorry, we don't have 50 players like some other teams. 48 players,
Yeah,
but...
they're not registered though. You're only able to register a squad of 30 or something.
Yeah.
Unless they're under 21.
My cousin from the village is actually one of the 48. He's excited to go. Quick, go back to Tottenham,
back onto the point.
Thanks, bro.
Tottenham Hotspur won their first trophy in 16 years, I believe. Ange Postecoglou, the holy saviour, the way they've made him out to be in this last, 3-4 days, has pretty much done something, and I think is the greatest Australian export of all time for winning that. Because going to Tottenham, putting your ass on the line and basically saying, I always win things in my second year at Tottenham.
Yeah.
That's a massive claim.
Yeah.
That's a massive claim.
And then to go out 2 days later and go, season 3 is better than season 2. Even bigger claim.
Could I say when he was on top of that bus and he's on the mic, that is the most Greek dad I've seen in my life. He's just sitting there and he's like, season 3 is always better than season 2, and I'm like, I'll see you in Marrickville, brother. Anyway,
It's incredible.
Now, how do you rate that among achievements with Australia?
That's up there.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. To do it on such a big scale with a club that, again, affected by injuries massively this year. It's for them as centre back as well. They had an 18-year-old midfielder playing centre back. Archie Gray was playing centre back for a lot of the season.
Yeah,
to deal with what he's dealt with and to get a club that almost believe in themselves that they're just going to throw it away. He said the perfect thing in his post-match press conference. Coming third wasn't going to change this club.
Yeah.
Winning something, bringing back a winning identity was going to change the club, and that was the only way I think to change the mentality and thought process behind all the fans, the media towards Spurs. And as an Aussie and a United supporter, it softened the blow.
Correct.
That it was another Aussie doing his thing and achieving such a great feat. It puts Australia more on the map. It proves to the footballing world that we actually have an idea of what we're doing. And obviously with his quote, he
always been thinking in my second year.
I think people either love him or hate him for that exact reason.
On that, I think if you put it into context, there is no shadow in my doubt that it's the greatest Australian coaching performance.
Ever.
Ever. Out of any sport. The biggest sport, arguably in the world, without a shadow of a doubt, participation, viewership, probably the most looked at, definitely.
Yeah.
The most participated in this country.
Yeah.
To do it on a European stage in the second biggest club competition in Europe, without a shadow of a doubt, it is the greatest Australian coaching performance in any sport.
I think I saw something saying he's the only non-European or Argentinian manager to win a European, or is the Europa League or European title?
Yeah.
So to think that apart from Europe, outside of Europe, only 2 countries ever won, and
That's
Australia
incredible.
is one of those. That would be everyone's last, one of people's last guests.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that you'd have Europe, Argentina and Australia in the same conversation when it comes to managers.
Yep.
And I think it has to be Australia's probably for an Australian, the best achievement on a global scale.
I think without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Trying to pull up something here.
But even you look at it I felt so glad, a Chelsea fan, whatever, United fan.
Yeah.
I felt seeing Son crying was nice.
Yeah.
Seeing Sonny crying, Madison doing his little darts thing.
Yeah.
It was nice to see.
To Roy Keane specifically
that was nice.
over there. That was good.
Yes, but you look at it, you do feel the curse has ended. And I had a moment where my coffee started shaking. I'm going, is it Judgment Day? Is the world coming to an end?
I told you, bro.
Yes, relax. It hasn't. We're still here, thankfully, Abdul. Touch wood, it's on the floor.
It's not Friday yet.
Abdul. Anyway, but it's for me, I was shocked. And for an Aussie to do it and to get players that historically have choked in finals, clubs that has choked in a final, it's incredible.
I just think that how do you capitalize on this? Because it's okay, you've stumbled your way to a Europa League final. Respectfully, they have stumbled their way in. They've had to put the pieces together.
In a knockout competition, you get the job done. Like simple as that. Really, it doesn't matter how you do it. Doesn't matter how pretty it is.
What a line! If that's not the start to the
No. It's true. It's true though.
You gotta do it.
But you've also finished 17th in the league.
Yeah.
You know, how do you go from 17th to let's aim for top 4?
Well, as they've got the 100 mil.
Yeah, you get a large amount of money.
Correct. Still, who's wanting to? Look, I think if Ange stays, which I think he will now.
I think if they were to sack him, the players would like revolt in a way. It looked like the players love him.
They love him. He makes you want to, and I think even listening to Luke
for a
Braddon,
war.
yeah, even listening to Luke Braddon, speak about him, and then watching some of the interviews, you want to run through a wall after you listen to it.
Yeah.
And my favorite part was him quoting Paul Keating. He said, "After an unlikely victory, this one is for the true believers." That had to be one of the coldest moments.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for him to just drop
Straight
the
in
mic.
politics.
Well, back onto that. I just think that I want to play for Ange, not me. As a player, would want to play for Ange.
Of course.
I just wouldn't want to play for Tottenham as a club because I just don't think that they're one of those clubs. It's like Villa. If Villa went out and won the Europa League or a Conference League or something, or even a Champions League this year, what guarantees you that club will do well next year? I can't guarantee it. I can't guarantee their foreseen success over the next 3 to 4 years.
But as a player,
But nothing guarantees anything. Like
Correct.
City, people joining City this year probably could have thought they were going to win the league again.
Okay.
but as a player, do you, even for yourself personally, do you play for the manager or do you play for Real Madrid, the exception, the club, his history, legacy? Do you play for the manager or do you play for the club? I think some players go to specific clubs for the manager and for the squad.
I think, it all depends on what you're trying to do, right? Especially and what the move means for you. As a young player, a lot of my moves are about my personal development
Correct.
and seeing where I can go. And I think I go to the place where I'm going to be learn the most and be able to develop as a footballer. And that was half the thought process behind my move. With our gaffer was a centre half, our assistant was a centre half, and our other centre half was John Harley.
Oh wow!
Who would play as left back. So all defenders, really good club, want to play you like young kids, want to play good football.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at that and you're like, what isn't there to love? And then on top of that, you've got the history of the club.
Yeah.
It's a massive club. The fans are unreal.
Mm-hmm.
So it all comes together really. You want the holistic experience. And I think that is something that I thought about. And I imagine most players will think about going to it. Tottenham are still a big club though. Like
Massive.
There is no, they've got a big fan base. They obviously have money. They get even more money now for being in the Champions League. You get to play in the Champions League. Depends what you want. Some players enjoy it and they want to put themselves on the highest level.
Some players join clubs just to play Champions League football.
You're guaranteed. Okay, for example, theoretically, player A guaranteed start on both teams has been offered a contract at Chelsea. Has been offered a contract at Tottenham.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go? You're guaranteed to start on both teams.
Current situation.
For me, I'm a Chelsea.
Yeah, he's going to go Chelsea. Like that, but that plays a role.
Directed at Hayden, go.
But we're talking.
Tomorrow morning, you get a contract offer from both.
Yeah, but he's Aussie. He'll go for Ange.
Yeah. Yeah. I half of the thought process would be that.
It's the gaff, I'm telling you.
You're a Brazilian centre back from the
now it's so
the streets of Sao
the
Paulo.
DR Congo's coming calling out.
From the
pick one
from the favelas.
Yeah.
You've been offered a starting contract at both sides. You've been told Gabriel will be starting at both teams. You've just got an offer, same money, same length of contract. Where are you going?
I actually don't know if I can give an answer. Is the thing. Like I honestly wouldn't. I'd have to weigh up everything. The manager plays a role, obviously. In my current stage and age, like I will say, I'm 26. I'm coming into my prime. You want to win things.
Yeah.
You can go based off history. Who's won things more in history? Who's won things more recently?
Yeah.
So it depends which way you want to look at it and which way you think is best. But yeah, I don't know if I can give an answer. I really don't know if I could.
I just think monumentally. Maybe it's because I'm an Arsenal fan.
There's your answer.
No. But monumentally, it's a great feat for the club. And it's one of those that, like we saw it with Crystal Palace. We saw it with Newcastle. There are 3 clubs that haven't won trophies in...
How good was that? Crystal Palace and Newcastle.
I did call it at the quarterfinals, but we will...
Did you?
Yeah, I was telling all my mates and stuff. I was kind of banking that someone else would beat City at the time, but I was going around the training ground telling them like, I just have a feeling Crystal Palace win it. It was because what? It was Preston were playing Villa,
Yeah.
and then
Palace Fulham,
and then Nottingham Forest played City.
Forest played City, and Bournemouth played
something.
Who did?
Was it? They had another.
It was another Prem team, but it wasn't. Anyway,
Let's have a look.
Yeah. And when I was saying this, they, obviously it was before the quarterfinals. They'd just beat Fulham like two or 3 weeks prior, quite comfortably. They'd only lost 2 games before Christmas, and I was banking on either Forest or Bournemouth knocking City out.
Yeah.
Obviously that didn't happen, but I'm claiming that I'm saying I did call that Crystal Palace would win the FA Cup.
But you look at them like they're a well-drilled unit, and
well, if you look at the table, they haven't had a good year. But if you look at where they were after 15 rounds compared to where they are now,
incredible.
Like they've turned the season around, and like they have a very, very good team.
Yeah.
Again, I find them to be very much a moments team as well.
You love the word.
No, but it's true. They are. They're not. Again, they're one of those teams that's not gonna out football you on the field.
Historically,
how good was their goal? Built up from a goal kick,
incredible,
all the way up to. Like, I know, I get what you mean. Like, it's still a good finish. It's still like it took moments.
Can't take that away from him.
But like,
do you think Fulham's a better team,
football wise? Yeah. Fulham is a better football team. Yeah.
Do you think Bournemouth's a better football team?
Yes, I think Crystal Palace has players that will stand up in the moments that I don't think Fulham have.
But look at like a player like Adam Warden in midfield just completely controls the game.
Munoz on the right.
Yeah,
second to none. What a player he is.
Steady the whole game.
Massive.
They have a great spine. I will say that Crystal Palace's spine, Henderson, then you go to the defense, and then Wharton, and then you go Gahey at the back, Mateta up front, and then you add Eze. It's very much, it's a raw team. But when it works, and it's one of those teams where it's not going to work 4 or 5 games consecutively. It's going to be one of those teams where.
Think that Fulham's a better team?
I think Fulham is a better football team. Yes, I don't think I'm wrong in saying that. I think they have better actual footballers. By the way, it was Palace beat Fulham 3-0, Villa beat Preston 3-0, Forest and Brighton drew 0-0.
Okay, Forest won, and then Bournemouth played City.
Bournemouth played City,
and then they played Forest. They played Forest in the semi.
They played Forest in the semi.
I should know that. Yeah,
they beat City beat Bournemouth 2-1. But yeah, look, I'll stick by that. Even if you look at the two teams now, like I've got it up here in front of me.
Yeah, but Fulham just started the season very well.
Very well.
Yeah.
Smith Rowe, mate.
There you go. Castagna Anderson.
Anderson's great.
Was Crystal Palace's best defender for years.
Future captain of England.
You look at Crystal Palace. It's changed. The way the club's built has changed, but I do think they're a very good footballing side as well.
I'm talking on the Fulham side. You're telling me if you go player for player, Anthony Robertson, left back.
Over
who? Over Tariq Mitchell. Obviously, all day, every day. You got Anderson, who I think starts ahead of all their centre backs.
Not gay.
Everyone's entitled. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Different centre backs, though. It depends what you want.
Yeah, Timothy.
Are you serious?
What is it? Anderson. Anderson's a level-headed centre back.
And
but Gahey's very much. It's kind of you need. If you could have both, you have both.
Correct.
They complement each other very well.
It's the style of centre back that you like. I like the Anderson style, where he's very much composed. He's very much a controlling.
You know exactly what you're going to get week in, week out.
Yeah,
right back Munoz. There's no question there.
Yeah. Well, you've got right back Castagna, who started that game.
Please.
Timothy Castagna's a great player. Great player, but
again, no one's saying he's not.
But he's not as good as Munoz, which I agree. Yes, fair enough.
Yeah.
You look up front. You got Muniz.
Oh, you missed the midfield now. Here we go.
Yeah.
Muniz.
No, you got midfield.
Yeah, but they got them in midfield. To be honest with you, though, aside from Wharton, you got Lukic, you got Burge, and then you've got Iwobi, who's been killing it in midfield for Fulham. Killing it. Can't say that he's not. He is.
Yeah.
So you probably go Wharton and Iwobi and Burge. Or Berger.
Depends, yeah. Well, they only played with 2. Palace. Depends which system they're playing in.
Why is he a Fulham fan now?
Hold on. And then you've got Pereira, Muniz, and Willian.
Yeah. No.
I'll probably take
Mateta
and
Sarr. Yeah.
No, but
even Kamada off the bench has been excellent.
Yeah. look, put it this way. It is what it is. They've won the cup. Let's get back to Tottenham for a second.
I'm happy for any team that's Arsenal. Generally.
I am.
You fucking shit on.
I am. I'm happy for Ange. You knew how I told you on the day. I was so conflicted. So conflicted.
So was I. I was watching the game and I was like, even if they lose, it softens the blow a little bit. Like it really does.
It's like I shouldn't be happy, but I am. But like Tottenham's just won a Europa League, and I just want to leave this with you guys. I genuinely think from the conversation that we had before. Do you remember back when Chelsea and Arsenal were very much in the Europa League back then?
Yep.
You guys won it. You feel the momentum going into the next season. You know that you can build off it.
Tottenham will finish top 6.
No.
Yeah.
You reckon?
Yeah, Tottenham will finish top 6.
You reckon top 6?
Because they've got what United don't have, the 100 mil.
So who do you think that they can bring in?
That will attract more players than you.
They should, yeah.
They will attract more players than you.
From a player's selfish point of view, you'd pick Champions League football over not.
Just quickly indulge me now.
Yeah.
Current squad, you can include Cunha. Current squad. Let's go combined 11. Just indulge me.
Yeah.
So you want to be mediator?
Vicario in goal.
Sure.
So we'll go Vicario. We're going United's formation, or you want to go 4-3-3?
We'll go 4-3-3, just standard.
Left back, a doggy.
Yeah, doggy.
That's 2. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Van de Ven and Romero. Or
I'd
put Romero's in there for me.
Gotta get Delict in there.
Yeah, Romero's in there, and then I'd probably delete Romero.
Over Maguire.
Over Mickey. No, sorry.
You wouldn't have Romero above
No,
Van de Ven.
Romero's there.
Yeah.
First, Kuti. I like Van de Ven more personally, me. But
If we were picking to play together,
I
think Romero and Van de Ven would play better together. But if we're doing individuals based off merit, I would pick
I'll give you the
Romero and then delete.
I'll give you the
Right back. Who are we claiming as United's right back?
Dallo.
Dallo, not Mazraoui.
Almost right. Either one.
He does.
I think it's better than Poro. Fuck yeah.
Pedro Porro.
Dallo going forward's the best of the lot there. Mazraoui
He's
balanced.
fucking shit against West Ham.
Yeah, but he's.
But
But this is the problem. Respectfully, this is the problem with a lot of.
You're a
football
mediator.
fans. Yeah,
You have no
but
opinion.
You've got to.
Fuck me, man.
You've got to look at it from a point of view. Don't worry about what mistakes.
You have Dallo. Yep. Next,
Go Dallo.
mediator.
Midfield.
Sa.
Yeah.
Sa.
Sa.
Bentancur.
Bentancur. Bruno.
Agate,
Oh, Fernandez. Yeah, Bruno. Yeah.
Bruno, Agate,
No, hello, please. So, what do you got? Have you kept the score?
Kobe Mainu.
Have you kept the score? Have you kept the score?
It's
Tottenham's winning.
1, 2, 3,
Three.
4, 5. 5,
Yeah.
3.
5-3.
Going into the front three.
Front 3.
Hold on. So no Kobe Mainu, no Bruno Fernandes.
No,
Bruno's
Bruno's
10.
in.
Bruno's
Kobe
10.
Mainu doesn't get into that midfield.
Bentancur.
I don't think so.
No chance.
Over Sarr. Respectfully, as an Arsenal fan here. I think Kobe Mainu gets in over Sarr.
But he doesn't play. He hardly plays for United.
But if you had the chance to sign this one player, who would you pick?
This is the most
Okay.
fucking biased media I've seen. What the fuck's going on?
No, Sar's good.
Okay.
Sar.
5-3. Front 3. You want to start left or right? I'm happy whichever one you like.
We'll go right.
Brendan Johnson.
Yeah.
Over Ahmed. Because that's the one. That's the one I'm happy to. That's the one I'm happy to contend.
Yeah. Ahmad off this season when he was fit was better.
What
than
about Johnson? 17-7, 17-8.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, but he also did have that big dip before that.
Mediator.
I'd go with Diallo.
Of course, 5-4.
Or Kulusevski.
Striker Solanke.
Strikes
I don't think there's any.
And Son on the left.
Hey, what about Big
Why
Man?
didn't he start the final, by the way?
Solanke.
No, Son.
Son.
Sure, he didn't start.
He didn't start.
Did
he come off the bench?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was my thought process. I didn't know why he didn't start in the final.
And masterclass.
Was he injured before that?
I don't know.
No.
That's what
Could have been. Must have.
He must have been because
To go with that, captain.
Yeah.
So even Hayden, we do that 7-4 current squad.
yeah.
You add to that Cunha, maybe over Solanke. Maybe. Let's give it argument's sake.
It's still 6-5 Spurs.
Still 6-5. So I'm looking at it and I'm going, current squad, they're better than you.
Mm.
Hypothetically, they've got more resources now to attain to a better squad.
Yeah.
Why can't they get top 4? Top 6, sorry. Top 6.
But money doesn't guarantee anything.
I agree.
No.
But current squad,
Yeah.
form now, no excuses.
Yeah.
Injury.
Well, there's injuries, there's added fixtures,
Quality
more
depth.
congested schedule. Like United, for the majority of the season, will play one game a week.
Correct. Helps massively.
There is no excuse for United not to be at that level.
Yeah.
Really. Like I don't see how they can't. Like if they finish 8th next year, outside, don't win the EFL Cup, don't win the FA Cup, just for argument's sake. They finish 8th.
Yeah.
Where does the club go again? No European football again.
Yeah,
Nothing. Like what's the next step?
It's a forced clean out. We had it ourselves too. And this is, again, like that's probably the one thing I feel like as a fan I can relate to is that I've seen it with my own club. Needs to happen. If you have one season, remember we finished 8th with Mikel when he first joined without half a season, finished 8th again the season after. It needed to happen because you start to lose players, even if you lose them for nothing, that needs to go.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to Spurs, their biggest problem next season is going to be quality and depth. That squad, their 11 fit is strong. I'm not going to sit there and say it's not, but they don't have depth.
Well, they've got the 100 million now. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. This is bro, inflation.
Well, that's yeah.
100 million gets you nothing.
Yeah, but 100 million.
Well, you're brilliant.
There's also that tax for being United. Like United inherently pay an extra 10 million for anyone.
Just off the cuff.
Like obviously Matheus Cunha is a release clause, so it doesn't make a difference. But like,
he'll be a good signing.
I think he's Premier League proven.
Yeah.
If he goes to United and can't perform, there's actually a problem with the club. Like as a fan, like you can't keep bringing these players in that come in with big raps. Some you can put down to not being Premier League proven. He is Premier League proven. He's been in the Prem for how long now? This season at Wolves, he's got more than 10 goals, 10 assists.
Yeah. Look,
there's no excuses.
Yeah.
It goes back. I think this will be a blessing in disguise for United. Like I said, because you'll turn around and be like, we only have 50 mil to play with. We need 4 players.
Yeah.
So whether you like it or not, it's gonna be a lot harder than here's 100 mil, bring in a finished product.
Yeah.
You know, like players like Big Money Mace.
Well, I hope so, because as trying to be unbiased, it doesn't feel right that United aren't up there.
Of course.
Like as a fan growing up watching United be like dominant and as good as they were, you probably enjoy it a little bit, but like
it's funny, but it's not.
It's like they're a massive club that should be up the top.
Like in no world does Brentford finish above United.
No.
In no world.
No, never should happen.
In no world. So quickly before it becomes United podcast, and we've obviously got our guest career that we need to speak about, Abdul. Who finishes higher, Spurs or United? Off the cuff.
I would say Spurs.
I'm going Spurs as well.
Man United.
Of course, he's gonna.
Of course. Thank you for catching on.
All three of us can't have the same.
Look, put it this way. Before we move on to Hayden's illustrious
Women's Champions League, you've got a minute.
Women's Champions League, we beat Barca Femeni. Amazing game. Amazing game. You know, I was up. It was 2 a.m. kickoff.
Credit to me, actually watched it.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
At 2 a.m. I've given up watching any games at 2 a.m.
Oh, lucky you. We don't all have at the 6 o'clock kickoffs in England anymore.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Sorry, even better.
They're not on TV though.
Yeah, that's well. You can use your
VPN.
Yeah,
Carry on, Abdul.
Allegedly, yes. Go.
35 seconds.
What do you mean he watches it from Latvia? Anyway, put it this way: it was an amazing game. The girls came in. Renee Slegers took over from Jonas Idevall early in the season, and we have looked like a completely different side. That Barca team, in terms of women's football, and
the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, they are like Pep's Barca, but tenfold.
They win like every game, like 8-0 in La Liga, don't they?
Yeah. No.
Even over Real Madrid.
They've won, I think, the last 5 or 6 La Ligas in Spain.
Like with 6 games to go.
Yeah.
It's incredible. 3
of the last 4 Champions Leagues. They have the current Ballon d'Or winner in there.
It's a massive achievement.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. But
since 2007.
That Arsenal team, second time last time they won it, 2007. Tactically, though, that is the best I've seen them play. The defense between Steph Catley and Leah Williamson at centre back.
Does Steph Catley play centre back?
Yeah, Steph Catley's been at centre back for the last probably 2-3 months there.
Oh, okay.
Katie McCabe's at left back. We brought in Emily Fox at the start of the year. She's absolutely killed it. Now, last season, if you remember, we talked about it. Katie McCabe was playing right back. That's Steph Catley at left back or left wing at certain point. There's a lot more balance in this side. And it's all due to one signing. We signed Mariana from Barcelona last season.
Great signing.
Great signing. And then up front, now I give her a lot of shtick. Stina Blackstenius came on and looked like a woman possessed. Like she was absolutely...
It's a great finish.
A great finish. Beth Mead didn't start. Chloe Kelly started. I hope we sign her. because
I think you will.
I think she's a free agent at the end of the year.
She came from Man City, yeah.
Yeah, Man
She's
City.
on loan, right?
On loan, yeah.
Yeah.
We signed her till the end of the season on loan, and I believe her contract expires. She was about to go on a break, a mental health break, if she didn't get anywhere. I think after that, halfway through the season.
She's an Arsenal
Arsenal
junior, right?
Yeah.
I'm a fan as well.
And for me, I know it's a bit much, but Leah Williamson's my, like, you know, the way I feel about, you know, Kai Havertz at Arsenal is my favourite player. Leah Williamson for me.
Hayden Mathews.
Unfortunately, until he plays for Arsenal one day. That's
Cole William.
Nah, it's my
I'd be there in
favourite
a
player.
heartbeat. I'd be there in a heartbeat. As soon as like that happens, the fan in you changes. Like you can't be that connected to a club.
Like, because like, hey, then I want you to come play for my team.
Oh God,
No, back to the point. It was an amazing win. You know, it's
very happy for you, Abdul.
You know, I'm happy to see my team win a Champions League, and regardless of whether it's men's or women's football, we got the job done.
Hopefully, Mikel can do it next year.
Hopefully, Mikel can do it next year. But massive credit to Renee, massive credit to the girls, and because I think it's deserving of a
small clap.
There it is. 3 claps for Arsenal.
And onto the men's career that was so eagerly excited to be brought on. Hayden, take us to. There was a lot of rumours circulating before you left.
Yeah.
Okay. None that was spread by us. Just want to clarify that, Abdul.
Definitely not us.
Take us through that sort of process. Obviously, don't give us the ins and outs, but take us through that process of from when the rumours happened, to you receiving a call to you being on the plane. Was it quick? Was it long? Who did you contact in the process?
Well, obviously the rumours started the window beforehand.
Yep.
And obviously, it was about Sydney rejecting offers, this, that, and obviously you go into any sort of press conference and it's the first thing they ask is there any truth to it? Is there any substance to things? And you've got to just kind of ignore it as much as you know and everything that's going on. You can't answer it because it's not my place to say anything.
Correct.
But yeah, from that point onwards, obviously knew of the interest. Everything was up in the air. But once the window closed and I was a Sydney FC player, that was my thought process. It was like, I'm a Sydney FC player.
Act professional.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, it's easy. I love the club.
Yep.
Everything about it was a fan. Like I want to do well and I want to perform well for myself as well. Not just for the club and for the fans, but also for myself and my own pride. You never want to walk off the field thinking I could have done more.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously get back around to the next to January, and we had at Sydney we had like 5 games in 15 days or something. We were playing midweek. Midweek against Perth. Who did we
Beat
play?
Perth, lost to Brisbane. I believe.
No, but who did we play? Perth was midweek.
I remember that. It was pissing down rain that day.
Yeah.
It was 1-0.
Might have been. No, who did we play? I don't remember.
Was it Adelaide?
It was Brisbane.
Brisbane was the last game of it though. We played. We played.
Or Victory.
Was it Victory, Perth?
Let me check it.
Someone else. Wellington in Wellington.
Yeah.
And Brisbane. So in that time, obviously the window's open again.
Yep.
There's noise. There's things going on in the background, and I'm kind of grateful we had a busy schedule because I didn't even have time to worry about it. It was one of those things where it didn't.
But you were aware of the noise.
Yeah.
Central Coast.
That's the one. Central Coast at home.
4-1.
Yeah.
And then Wellington.
And then it was the night after the Brisbane game. Obviously, annoying loss, frustrating, and I get a call that night, obviously, from my agent, basically saying the deal's been agreed. And pretty much there'll be more contact on what the plan is to go forward. And obviously, then I flew over, I think 3 or 4 days later. But then there's obviously that feeling. It's like mixed emotions, obviously, with leaving my boyhood club. The way I ended up leaving, obviously, on the back of a 4-3 loss at home to the team that hadn't won a game all season.
Doesn't look good.
It's not that it doesn't look good, but it's like that's my last memory as a Sydney FC player. And it's not the best one.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit annoying, but it was a massive opportunity, and I was super excited for it to be done and to get my chance to go over and prove myself. And I was on a plane 3 or 4 days later after speaking to the manager on a call, and landed Thursday morning, so the 23rd. Visa appointment that night, medical the next day, and the boys were playing in West Brom, so up in Birmingham, roughly on the Saturday.
Wow.
Did a bit of running Saturday, Sunday was off. Monday was -1 session. First time meeting all the boys, and then Tuesday I was starting.
Yeah, I remember that.
How was that? So from a -1 session, finding out you're starting.
I didn't know I was starting.
No,
on
on game day.
No. So I wasn't meant to start.
Okay.
And then on match day, one of the boys fell ill.
Yep.
So I got a call,
Chinese.
basically being like, "Yeah, you're starting."
How were you in that moment, headspace? Like that's
obviously it's a bit of a shock. You kind of like you look around, you're like,
I've just met these people.
yeah. I'm like, I don't even know everyone's names. Like,
That's so true.
like
Number 44, number 5.
yeah, like I went out there and was obviously it was just this is probably about 5-6 hours before the game, and I'm just sitting there like, okay, no, like it's good that I didn't have the time to think about it. I think it was literally all about getting myself ready for the game, and I didn't even hardly even thought about the game, and did my normal prep, got ready for the game as I always would. At the end of the day, it's still football, still a game of football. So I prepared the same way. Get to the ground, the gaffer speaks to me, he pulls me, he's like, there's no expectation here. Like, you don't know the system, we know that.
Yeah.
Go out there and just play.
Wow.
He's like, trust your instincts, play, like, yeah, just go out and play. Do like play to your strengths. Do what you feel comfortable and necessary to try
How's
and get
that
the
as
win.
a player? Is that comforting? That's reassuring, I'm assuming.
Very comforting. It gives you confidence. You feel like you can go out there and play off instinct. Really, you don't overthink things. You don't like if he had given me so much information about this player's going to do this. I go into the game thinking about everything else that can happen in a football, and I don't actually worry about what I do as a footballer.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously went out. We lost 1-0 unfortunately, but I think I didn't have my best game ever. But I was all right. Like I got through the game. My legs were going. I hadn't slept properly before this game. Obviously, the time zone the time difference was 11 hours at this point.
Wow.
And so I'd hardly slept. I just moved into my flat like the day before, so it was all everything was
So
going. It
fast.
happened so quickly that I'm almost grateful I didn't have the time to think about it. And then after that, I just wanted more.
I remember, Instagram and Twitter and all of that after straight away. The Pompey fans got onto it. They really, they welcomed you with open arms. And my only thing though is as a player, and obviously neither of us are professional players.
Clarifying.
How do you deal with all the Twitter and Instagram stuff?
I don't see it. I don't look at it.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay away from it, like because family look at it, friends look at it, things happen. But from what I've seen, the overarching theme has been pretty positive towards me. The reception's been quite good. Obviously, when I first joined, and I saw a couple ones that were like, "Who's this kid?" Like, obviously unproven kid. I can understand. I completely understand the skepticism, and I think me personally, you just can't take it to heart.
Correct.
Like I know when I've played bad, and I know when I've played good.
Yeah.
So reading someone's tweet about me isn't going to change the way I feel about a game. And if I come off the pitch disappointed, then in the way I played, like an extra tweet is just not going to affect that.
Look, it's very much as well. I remember at the time there was this page. It was like a Pompey Aussie page or whatever it is, and it was flicking through. UBF doesn't necessarily have Twitter, but like they have an account, so we kind of we see what's going on and stuff there. Twitter is one of those places where you don't want to engage in back and forth because it gets very rough in there. But generally, a lot of the Aussie fans were very much like, "You've got a good one." And I
not even Aussie has. I would add to fans in general. I think the Pompey fans have really
Well, Pompey fans these guys are different. Like honestly, next level. Like every single person pretty much in Portsmouth is a Pompey fan, and like they love the club, properly love the club with everything they have. Like follow them. Like our away end, we went to Sheffield United, Bramall Lane. Our away end was louder than the home fans.
So compare a sold out Sydney derby to that away end. How does it work?
So the away end of a Sydney derby would probably have a bigger allocation than our away end. Our away end's normally, I think it's around 2,000 or 10% of the stadium.
So then a home Sydney derby compared to a home Pompey game.
Yeah, it's
different.
It's different because there's not ultras in a way. Like there's like a main end where the noise comes from. Yeah. But everyone in the stadium, like it properly echoes throughout the whole stadium. Everyone in the stadium singing for pretty much 90 minutes. Like it is loud.
Culture.
It is really loud in there. And the stadium, like you're on top of everything. Everything's nice and close. It's amazing. And Pompey fans are known for being one of the best. And that was one of the things that I was told when I went over there. Like, I went over there expecting a lot, and it's still managed to exceed my expectations.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's good. And there's a few Aussies there.
That makes it easy.
Have you found that? So obviously, going in, there's a few Aussies there. In terms of your settling process, obviously, languages, thank God the language is the same. But in terms of actually getting in there, getting a couple of the boys, they introduce you to their mates, makes it a lot easier, I'm assuming, doesn't it?
Definitely. Well, obviously, Waddingham pretty much went over at the same time as me. Cassini was already there, and I knew him from the Socceroos camp I was in, and Jacob Farrell, I actually had never met or spoken to, but I'd heard he was a really good guy.
Great guy.
Through people, so it helped having Waddingham on like the same path as me. He literally landed in the country maybe like 3-4 days before me. Okay. And just that makes that easier, having someone who you can relate to at all times. And then obviously having the two other Aussies there that were settled and good mates with the boys and similar ages. Obviously Cassini's a little bit older, but Faz is 2 years older than me and Waddingham's a year younger than me. Yeah. So us three have kind of been spending a lot of time together away from football. And even though I didn't know them going into it, like, I don't know, it's just that comfortability, you know, similar humour, similar way of saying, like talking about things to talk about, like the rugby league. There's similar interests. You can talk about the A-League as well. Like we'd all be watching it, give each other shit about
Brisbane Mariners.
None of us had many bragging rights this year over there when we were talking about games, but it was good. And you talk about games like I played against both of them. Yeah. And you go back to last year's semi-final against Faz where I'd tell him we were robbed. And actually, you know the clip where...
To be fair, we were.
The clip where the assistant manager gets sent off and he flips the camera off?
Yeah.
You realise that was me pushing Faz over. And that was the reason and there was no foul given, and that was the reason that...
What a poetic...
Now they're together.
And obviously, what's his name? Schofield. Obviously, Mark Jackson and Schofield are both English as well. So all the boys in the UK had seen this clip. They've all seen it.
Like, it's you.
And we're like... You realise that was us.
What's the name? Oh, that's that guy.
I insist it was a bit of a dive, but...
Still to this day, we don't know. Is that right?
Exactly. All I know, a foul wasn't given.
We were wrong.
The following results unfolded.
Hey, some would say it should have been a victory versus Sydney final last year.
I do think so, but
you know, on to current times. To bring a bit of a sad note to a really enlightening topic, we know obviously the injury unfolded, and how has the club been for you in terms of your recovery and your goals and aspirations with the club in line for next year?
Well, the main attraction for me at the club was obviously it's a club with amazing history and fans, as I was told, going there. But the coaching staff there are all young, progressive. Gaffer was a centre half. Yep. Our assistant was a centre half, and our other assistant was a fullback. Yep. So it's obviously not a defensive minded coaching staff, but
helps you specifically.
There's a lot to learn. Yeah. You've got players that have played Premier League, Championship, League One. There's so much to learn from these coaches, and they want to play young players. They want to play good football. Obviously, when I went there, we were in a bit of a relegation battle, so it was all about being pragmatic and getting results, because that's the most important thing. Yeah, it's stay up. But the already little things I've learned off them have been like, it's been so helpful, and I feel like I've already developed as a player in the short amount of time and the limited amount of training I actually did before I got injured. And since the injury, they've been really good. Always saying hello, asking how it's going. Physio staff have been amazing, S&C, everything. And then next season, I'm just trying to get fit for pre-season now. Yep. I feel like I'm playing catch up a little bit. Obviously, having only just started running really like 3-4 weeks ago. But I feel good. My ankle feels good.
When does pre-season start?
The back end of June. Okay. So I head back in about 2 weeks, and then I'm there a bit before pre-season with the physios before we can get back in with the boys.
Good.
Yeah. And talk to us a bit about Josh Murphy.
Oh, mate. What a player.
Obviously, his brother plays for Newcastle. I was looking over here. He's had 7 goals, 14 assists. He started the 40 out of the 42 matches that he's played in.
Wow.
An absolute stalwart of the league as well. But, you know, it's very hard, and we've talked to a few different, like we were at Granville earlier today chatting to Carluccio's brother, Carluccio, who plays out at Granville Rage. It's very hard having a sibling playing the same sport in a higher league. What's it like playing with him? And, you know,
well, they're twins.
Yeah.
So they're identical twins, and obviously for them growing up, I think that That's massive.
Yeah.
I grew up with an older brother and I was super, super competitive with him. I always wanted to beat him. And I definitely think that's helped me get... you grow up playing against someone who's 2 years older, bigger physically.
Yeah.
You learn ways to win and you want to win. It gives you just have that drive. And I'm sure having a brother like that, they would have been super competitive growing up.
Yeah.
And I know they still are now. They have a... they keep tallies of their goal contributions and they compare against each other. And... Josh Murphy's had an unbelievable career. Like he signed for Cardiff back in the Prem for something like 10 million, I think it was almost.
Was that 18, 19, 19, 20 when they were?
17, 18, I would think.
It was with Norwich.
To start with.
A bit Milton, Norwich, Cardiff, Preston, Cardiff, Oxford, Portsmouth.
So I think his second stint at Cardiff, there was a pretty big transfer fee.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he probably didn't have the best season, but he's very settled where he is now. And honestly, he is so fast. He's lightning quick. Could go both ways because if you let him on his left, he crosses the ball in, and we've got a good number 9 who's good at heading the ball and good at scoring from crosses. Yeah. If he cuts in on his right, he absolutely whips one top bins.
Put it this way, it's very much. I think it's Bishop that's up front.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
No, he's that team's looking good. Now, I was hoping you guys would make the Premier League and that we could be like, Hayden Mathews left to go play in the Premier League, but you've escaped relegation this year. Finished 16th, I believe.
Yeah, 16th.
What's Portsmouth's aspirations going into next year?
I think within the group, there's a lot of belief. From the minute I got there, I knew no one in the group thought we were going down. There was never even a thought about it. Like everyone was at that point where obviously we were in it and in and around it, and we knew what we had to do to get out of it. But I think everyone had the belief that we'd find a way, and I think we more than comfortably found a way. And it was all that comes down to the mentality of the team and everything. And I don't think any of us ever wavered from that thought.
Yeah.
And going into next season, I think there's even more belief.
Yeah.
I think we've proven to ourselves from December 1, I believe we're 7th on the championship table.
Wow.
That's a large portion of the season.
Absolutely.
And
it was a poor start you had, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a poor
if we can continue that moving forward, going into next year, just I don't see why we can't be in and around the playoffs.
Yeah. And
I really don't see why we can't.
The last one, you touched on it before with the injury. The Pompey fans were, I remember after that game, it was man of the match. He was, the comments section was flying and they really enjoyed having you around. What's the message to the Pompey fans? Because I think
from you personally,
from you personally, like what's one thing that you could leave with them, given the reaction that they had towards you and the way they've made you feel?
Yeah, just a massive thank you, really. They've been amazing. Like really warm reception. As soon as I arrived at the club, I felt welcomed and accepted into a big club. Obviously with I guess a lot of expectation as well. And I feel like I've come in and it's helped me perform. It's massively helped me perform. And I mean, we all do it for them at the end of the day. They are the club. They are the heart and soul of the club. So when I was injured and then we had no subs left and there was 10 minutes to go in the game up 2-1, there was no question in my mind that I was staying on that pitch.
Yeah.
As soon as I knew we had no subs, I hear the gaffer screaming at me and then the captain comes over and I'm like, he's screaming at me to get up because the ball was in play. And then the goes out for a throw and I sit down and the captain comes over. He's like, we don't have any subs left. Like, he's like, can you play on? And this is like the 88th minute, 7 minutes injury time.
Oh, fuck.
Sticks me up top.
Oh my days. He's on a Harry Maguire.
Yeah. He's the running behind. Here we go.
And I knew straight away my ankle was done. Like I could tell straight away. I was like, there's ligaments that are not in the right place straight away. But after that, I was like, I just have to suck it up.
Adrenaline kicks in.
Yeah. I was like, it's all like, I have to do what I can to get. If we hadn't have won the game, I would have been absolutely heartbroken. But I was up top and I was the only thing I remember from like our team talk was like, don't let anything on your inside shoulder is like the lot they work with. So I was literally like trying my best to show them outside. I could not run. Got through the game. As soon as the game was done, I sat down, booed off. I was like,
foot looked like a balloon.
Yeah. And I think that definitely helped with the reception from the fans as well. I saw a lot of positive comments and I got so many messages from every single fan just wishing me well.
Amazing.
And saying, I guess, thank you in a way for for putting up my heart on the line. But for me, it was without a doubt that was something I had to do. As soon as I knew there was no subs left, I was like, I'm staying on this pitch.
Someone say that players do find their clubs.
Look, they do.
Maybe
But
Hayden Mathews meant for Portsmouth.
yeah, but we still love him in Sydney. We don't exile our players and wish the worst upon them.
We don't either. We need
We could speak to a few of them.
Me personally, anyway.
Yeah.
Hayden, before we go, I just wanted to ask you any PG/M stories that you could share in the locker room of Portsmouth that are quite funny that you could share to our viewers. I know there's probably a plethora that you could find.
Is one of them? So, do you ever call Connor O'Shag Hennessy?
Shocklessy.
O'Shag Hennessy.
Sometimes it's called Shaggers, yeah.
Shaggers.
Anyway, I better start than that.
His main name would be Shocks because Shocknessy is the Irish. I'm not sure.
Shocknessy.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Stories.
Have we got one, Hayden? Can we press you for one?
I'm just trying to think. I don't really have one. No, not that I can share.
I can share.
Nah. To be fair, it's a really good group. There's a lot of banter that goes on in there.
We were speaking to Martin and Luke 2 weeks ago, and they were saying also that dressing room and the banter with the boys inside the dressing room for the 30 or 40 minutes after training, before training, that is arguably sometimes better than the football itself.
Yeah, sometimes it is.
What is it about being in and around a bunch of boys similar to your age that is just a universal experience that you can't really... What is it?
You can't really explain it. Like I don't know, everyone has their release from football and things like that, and having a laugh with your mates has to be up one of the best. And when you spend as much time as we do with a group, like we're training most days of the week, traveling up and down the country, I don't know, it's just something about it. Like you've spent so much time with, pretty much everything about everyone. And obviously sometimes you can say some things that get personal, that get a reaction out of the boys, but I think everyone knows it's lighthearted. No one takes it to heart. It's I think that's one of the best things. It's a really good group of lads at Portsmouth, and it's again made that transition easier. And obviously England and Australia, England banter is probably a little bit better, but it's not too dissimilar.
What about the food?
Oh, do we love what is it called?
The food's better here.
Right.
Really?
Abdul, they have no clue.
Really?
What is English food to you?
Yeah, like sausage.
That's sausage.
Mash.
Bangers and mash.
What's it called?
What,
the little pieces of bread. The
croutons.
No.
They're Italian,
what are they called? The little things they put the gravy in and
crumpets.
No.
Scones.
No, it's called like a something. Oh my god. Birmingham, whatever it's called. Hold on.
I have no idea. That's
Hold on.
4 hours away.
English,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
English.
What about music? The music game.
Music in the change room is actually not too dissimilar. A bit of house.
Who's DJ?
Normally the Skip does it.
Normally Skip.
Yeah.
Have you had any moments where you think, oh fuck, the FC music was a bit better?
No. It's actually been really good.
Yorkshire pudding.
Oh, Yorkshire pudding. Yeah. Okay.
That goes off, but I've had it before. It's actually really nice.
Yeah, but
no, I used to work with an English chick. They used to bring to it.
I don't know. Just Australian food, but like obviously Australia doesn't really have a food, but because we have so many different cultures here,
correct.
Like there is so many different cuisines within Australia, which you can. It doesn't really happen over there as much.
It's a bit more. It's the same but different. Have you had a spice bag?
No, I have not.
That sounds like something that is weird as fuck.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's a spice bag. Yeah,
with the chips and the curry sauce.
Yeah, I haven't had that. No.
Yeah, that's what I want to try. Like I like those.
I'm glad you want to try.
It's not a spice.
I don't think it suits my diet.
Facts.
Listen, I'm sure.
Okay, speaking of diet, what's your favorite cheat meal? After a game?
When I was here, I used to get Macca's after a game.
Ooh, what's Macca's order?
Oh, normally a McChicken meal.
Good man.
Which Macca's?
What do you mean?
Each Macca's is different, bro. Bankstown Macca's I stopped going to because like service there was rubbish.
If Hayden ever went to Fairfield Macca's.
No, so I'm not hungry after a game. So obviously it's in Sydney. We're playing 7:45 kickoffs most games. So I'm getting Macca's like delivered to the house at like 1, 2 a.m. in the morning. So it doesn't matter what I'm eating at that point, it hits. Whereas now with the 3 p.m. kickoffs, it's
go home to actual dinner.
Yeah, I actually have a proper meal at a normal time. And to be fair, I've been cooking a lot more over there, but Nando's is probably my go-to when I go over there. I've got one not far from my place, so it's
can you handle
chicken
spice
easy.
Spice level?
I do medium. I can handle it, but like to taste my food. I don't want to burn my mouth while I'm eating.
I go by tangy barbecue or whatever it is. I struggle with sweet. What are those?
I'll go lemon. I'll go the lemon one.
Yours?
Well, you got lemon and herb.
Yeah, bro.
Really? You can't did not handle spice, or you just don't?
I have no sauce in general.
I struggle with sweet. Yeah, his things are whole different. He has no sauce in general. I struggle with sweet chili, like grain waves. I blame my mom for that. She never fed us chili when we were kids. So.
Really?
Yeah,
chili not enough for us.
Yeah. Hayden's different though. He's the first like white guy that can handle spice. I'm not wrong. Nah, but
oh my god,
how's the accommodation over there? Like,
so the club sorted me out for the rest of the first season, and yeah, they looked after me.
You rooming with anyone or?
No, I've got my own place. I got my own place, but everyone's it's actually like quite a small city actually geographically compared to like growing up in Sydney.
Yeah,
when I used to drive an hour, 15 minutes to training every day.
Wow.
With traffic, obviously.
Yeah.
It takes me no more than 10 minutes to get to training. Like everywhere is within 10, 15 minutes from where I live, and that it's so different.
So
it's so foreign to me from growing up in Sydney, where literally from top to bottom of Sydney is almost 2.5 hours.
But Sydney FC were a bit weird with that. We play in Allianz, which is like Moore Park, or we train on the other side of Sydney. Like it'll make no sense. Like even traveling out to Sky Park recently, I'm like, why are we so far away from where we play?
Listen, speaking of travel, when we get England, Hayden will give us a Portsmouth tour of his apartment.
Surely if Portsmouth make the Premier League or even the final six where you're able to compete against the
UBF will be there.
UBF will be there. Yeah. We're there with our Hayden Mathews mural.
No, we're not doing that. You can do that.
What about Portsmouth versus Arsenal? Who are you going for?
Oh shit. And look at the camera.
Yeah, where is it?
That one there, Jed.
Wow.
Yeah.
FA Cup. Oh my god, go.
Oh, FA Cup final.
Oh, don't do that to me.
It's 4-4. Penalty shootout. Hayden Mathews.
Oh, I'm taking the deciding penalty.
Oh my god.
I'm taking the deciding penalty.
Here
You
we
want me to
go.
score or miss?
You know what? For the sake of our friend, for the sake of Hayden, I hope that you find the back of the
Arsenal
net.
trophyless again. I love it.
Listen, if it means that Hayden is happy at the end of the day and he's won a trophy and he's scored a deciding penalty,
I think Hayden's very happy.
Turn the cameras off. I'll ask him again.
And cut it down.
No.
Hayden, just from our sponsor, wanted to give you something as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Lightweight Athletic Club have been very kind and
Thank
generous. I believe there's a Sydney FC thing.
It's amazing. Is it?
Sydney FC colour though.
May I open this?
You can open on camera. Show Jules. You want to?
Did we give you one of these last time?
No.
No. So upgrades, obviously second time. But just a massive thank you from us, from our
thank
sponsor
you
as
guys
well.
for having me.
The owner's a massive Sydney FC fan as well.
Oh, really? Is he?
He is.
Yeah,
He is.
awesome.
He's got the Cove tattooed on him as well.
Days.
It's just a couple of stuff in Hayden's size, I believe.
Julian, did you write that note again?
Yes.
Last time,
I
Julian.
got the correct pen. I only had like one pen. It was a sharp.
But just wanted to say, man, massive thanks
Thank
for
you,
coming
yeah.
on again.
Massive.
And
No worries. Thank you for having me.
we're glad to have you back. And if you ever want to come back again to Sydney,
Not mid-season though, Abdul, because you'll be flying.
No, I will not be here for a long time.
But we genuinely we wish you the best of
Yeah, massive.
Yeah. Thank
whether
you.
it's the World Cup next year or with Portsmouth season, it could be God knows where it could take you. But
And listen, just from me as well, Wanderers fan, diehard. But I've never formed a connection with an FC player like this as well. Hayden, just a lovely gentleman you are, obviously, and just a massive best of luck for Portsmouth. Massive thank you from us, and best of luck for Portsmouth, and obviously forever in England. I'm sure there's a gentleman we can contact there, and we'll catch up
definitely.
for a Scotland tea, I believe. Is that there?
Scotland tea.
Scone NT.
Scone NT.
Scone NT.
I'm like, what the hell's a Scotland tea?
I thought you said my wrong thing, which will fix
Mate, before we go, Hayden, you are a big rugby league fan.
I am, yes.
Doggies are first,
They are.
Lachlan Galvin.
I know. But I don't know how it fits. I went to the Dogs game against Dolphins.
We saw that.
Listen,
44.
I was saying it all day. I was saying, I've been going to the games for the past 10, 12 years when we've been shocking. We've been bottom of the league for how long? I used to go, we'd lose every single time I went.
Yeah.
I finally leave the country. Oh, not finally leave the country. I leave the country.
I couldn't wait to get out.
I leave the country and we're finally good. Top of the league, right? There's one game on while I'm home.
Yeah.
One game. I was like, I guarantee we will lose. I guaranteed it. I was going around. I'm like, there is not it's just my luck. The one game I'm going to see in a year that we might even okay, maybe win the minor premiership. Premiership's a long way to go, maybe, but
we got both. But yeah,
yeah.
So just settle on.
I'm not saying that, but yeah, I was like, I guarantee we'll lose. There's nothing in my mind that's changing that I know we're going to lose this game.
you'll be back in England before the Queen's birthday, right?
That's the day I fly out.
Before or after 4 p.m.
Before.
So we're winning the game.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's the only game I can see, and I was like, for a fact, we're losing this game.
It's been good, and I wish all the Bulldogs success to your lovely.
I've been watching.
season.
Don't get me wrong. 6 a.m. Bulldogs games.
I'm not on the VPN as well.
No.
Unbelievable.
No
He's watching
VPN for that one.
He's watching the NRL from Romania.
I'm watching that one from the UK, from the comfort of my couch.
There we go. Hayden, once again, man, just an absolute massive thank you. Best of luck for your season, and we look forward to touching paths or crossing paths wherever that may be.
Thank you very much.